see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 21 of the Now You Made It Awkward podcast, where you guys won't hear it, but I definitely cut Ricky's nonsense out of the beginning. And because we are on a bit of a tight time frame today, we're just going to get rolling. Real quick, though, I will read off comments, because we had a couple comments from the last couple episodes. And because episode 20 has not aired as of recording this, we won't have any responses or long emails from Jay this time. So,
don't you want to shout out our guests before we start reading emails?
I will do that in a second. When do I ever introduce everyone right off the bat? I always introduce them.
Oh, no, he's just going to randomly start talking and people are going to be like, who the fuck's this dude?
That's fine. We were 35 minutes in before I introduced Matt.
That is true.
Yep. So either way, if we go back to the episode of the top 5 best video game movies, there is one stupid YouTube and not wanting to show me all the comments. There we go. We had a question actually, and it was from Christine. And I want to see if you guys will know the answer to this. She's an easy trivia question. What do some of my favorite movies, War Games, The Karate Kid, The Avengers, and Pixels, have in common?
War Games, Karate Kid. They're all Paramount movies.
No. Well, could be, but that's not what she was getting at.
War Games. Read them off again.
Sorry. War Games, The Karate Kid, The Avengers, the first one, and Pixels.
Don't they all have Pac-Man in them?
They have a game in them, but not Pac-Man.
Yeah, the arcade game.
Galaga.
Is it?
There it is.
Galaga.
Yep. Yeah. So I guessed it correctly once I got to Avengers. So I was like, it's got to be Galaga because there wouldn't be anything else. And so when I guessed back to her, she said, yes, sir, Galaga, the only game besides Pac-Man that she could play really well back when it first came out. So that's pretty cool because we hadn't really heard from Christine in a little while. We have another comment from Will over on the Babies in the HOV Lane episode that Mike and I did. And he says, this has me thinking a bit. Speaking just to the HOV citation itself, I'm going to say I agree with the pregnant lady. However, people get off without a ticket / citation for crap all the time. So I know there's a level of discretion cops have over whether or not to give one, which is entirely true. You know,
and when I was listening back to the HOV episode, man, I did have a comment on it. I talked about it with you guys, and the thing, I'm surprised you didn't talk about it in there because I couldn't be there for that one, but I did comment about it.
You basically called her stupid or something like that?
Nope, not what I said.
What did you say?
What I said was, would she keep that same energy if they were trying to charge her for 2 airplane seats or 2 movie tickets?
Oh, that comment. I don't know. Yeah. They do the same thing for fat people. They do it too, but I guess if she's not,
she's hollering.
But if she's not going,
she shouldn't get a ticket because she's actually 2 people. Well, then does that mean she's willing to pay for 2 tickets to do anything else that would require it for 2 people?
No, because she can't occupy 2 seats, and they can't charge her for 2 seats she's not occupying.
Well, then she's not occupying 2 seats in her vehicle, so there's not 2 people in the car.
No, but the car has 2 people in it. So she doesn't have to take up 2 seats for 2 people to be in the car. If she has somebody
in the trunk.
Yeah, you could have somebody in the trunk or in your lap, which is not a good plan, but still a thing.
And neither one of those would get you out of HOV violation ticket.
Nope. But either way, he did actually email in with an elaboration on his comments. I'll read it out for real quick. So it says, about 10 years ago, my mother got, and this is Will still. About 10 years ago, my mother got a ticket when she rear-ended somebody. We were, her and I, traveling downhill at speed limit. Car in front of us stopped, and the momentum pulled us forward after she hit the brakes. 2 cars collided. No damage on either, and no one hurt, but she still got a $250 ticket. Personally, I think she shouldn't have gotten one.
I got you one better.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, you know how like when your car, like when you're stopped, but if you let go of the gas, if your idle's not set exactly right, it'll slowly move forward.
Sure.
My wife came to a dead stop at a red light with a car in front of her and took her foot off the gas, and her car slowly rolled forward and bumped this dude's car in front of her.
You mean took her foot off the brake?
Yeah, off the brake. And
Yeah.
it slowly rolled forward and bumped him. This motherfucker got out his, would not get out his car. She was trying to get information from him. He kept his window. He wouldn't even crack his window so she could talk to him. Like, he just stayed in there holding his neck. I'm dying. Dude, he hit her insurance. Like, this list of shit that was wrong with him, was crazy. Like, somehow that little bump made him have erectile dysfunction. Like, it was fucking bananas, dude. I am not making this up.
Oh my
Can
God.
pull out the paperwork on it. Like, it was shit. He couldn't go to work for 6 months. He couldn't do this. How he said it was, he was unable to sexually perform for his wife. Like, all this crazy shit like this. And fucking when the cops got there, the FHP got there, they're like, y'all were in an accident? And the guy's like, yeah, he's holding his neck. He's like, I needed an ambulance and all this. And the guy's like, well, where did she hit you? And he pointed at the back of her car, and the cop started laughing. He said, he's like, these cars are made out of fiberglass, their fenders are. If you're going like 10 miles per hour, they'll collapse in on themselves. There's not even a scratch in your paint. How slow would she have been possibly going for there to be no kind of transfer at all? He's like, oh, I'm dying. You need to be. It was crazy, dude. And it ran up our insurance. And then they were talking about suing my wife. And it was absolute batshit crazy. Come to find out the dude was all into kind of like workman's comp scams and shit. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. And she just happened to.
Yeah.
Actually, she might not have moved. He might have purposely backed into her.
Well, he didn't know. She definitely moved. She admitted that. She's like, I reached over to grab something. I took my foot off the brake for a second, and the car just kind of that very slow, like literally a snail's pace, and just kind of rested against his car. And like this dude was like, "Oh, my neck and my back," like he was doing all that shit. It was crazy.
Yeah, he sounded like Mike right there.
The erectile dysfunction thing had me laughing. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, how, as a man, I don't understand how shitty of a person you have to be to proclaim to the world that your dick's broken just to try to get free money. It's crazy.
It just sounds like a real pain in the ass.
Thank you. Personally, I was going to say, it's like, maybe he's just not getting used to being hit from behind that hard, but given the erectile dysfunction, maybe she needed to hit him harder. Either way, so to finish off the email, he also says that when he was a kid, his dad got caught speeding and talked his way out of a ticket. I think he should have gotten one anyways. The thing in common was both incidents the cops had discretion whether or not to issue them. Now, I would agree that like the first one with his mom, like sure, failure to control your car or some nonsense, but like given that there was no damage or injury, that should have been dismissed. Like I'd have fought the fuck out of that personally. And I've gotten out of tickets before just by worthiness of my uniform from work. Mind you, I wasn't really doing anything wrong when they pulled me over, but it was kind of a, let's see what this guy's doing kind of stop. But I've also narrowly avoided a drunk driving ticket because I guess the cops were too lazy to do their job properly and gave me a bullshit ticket. And I didn't even fight that one because I was like, I had been drinking and I was driving home. They didn't do their job properly, and being a shitty cops that they were, they only wrote me a really stupid $100-some-odd dollar ticket for the most bullshit excuse I've ever had. So,
but you were actually drunk.
I was more than buzzed, but I wouldn't say drunk. Like I won't drive like super drunk, especially before that. I was already like, because I wasn't even driving very far. I'd been to a bar in town, had a couple, but I was enough that I probably wouldn't have passed a breathalyzer, but not inebriated to the point that I shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car. Well, beyond
I know
legal sense.
a lot of tickets and stuff like those nonsense tickets, like they just count on people being too lazy or too busy with work and life to go down to the courthouse and do anything about it. But if you show up for those bullshit tickets on the day that you have a court appointed thing for it, 99% of the time they get dismissed. You just have to be there because the cop's too busy to even show up and say you need the ticket.
Well, I'll argue against that because my ex-roommate was a cop and he said they are required, like they are let off to go to court to deal with the tickets. So if a cop says they were too busy to make it to court, then maybe somebody died. But like they're required to make it for that reason. So they have to be
even
there.
for the bullshit ones.
Yes. So the thing is like if somebody chooses to fight it, then that's got to be a thing. But most people, like you said, are going to take care of it ahead of time. They're not going to sit there and wait for the court date and stuff like that. So, but in my case, what was my defense? I was like, well, he's clearly not doing his job because he pulled me over for a bullshit reason, and he didn't bother to ask me if I'd been to a bar or even to get out of my car. It's like my excuse is I was drinking, and he should have got me for that, but he didn't. So he's a shitty cop in the first place.
Be like, liar, liar. Do you know why I pulled you over? Because I was speeding, and I was this, and I was that.
Yeah. All the laundry list. Well, actually, what he got me for, which was even stupider, was excessive acceleration.
So you sped up too fast off the light?
I didn't even stop for a light. I didn't have a light. It's like I was crossing a bridge. I was crossing a bridge over the freeway and then going up a hill. Him and his other cop that were talking were sitting at the gas station right there. And it's just because, my car changed gears and like I wasn't even speeding. That's the fucked up part. It's like, you want to say he's like basically saying my car sounded fast. But I wasn't even speeding. And I saw the cops because they were just sitting right there, so I'm not stupid. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, what do you mean excessive acceleration? And it's like, and I didn't spin my tires.
That ticket.
No, that shit went in the trash.
The cop said my car sounded fast.
Yeah, car sounded fast, basically. The car was fast-ish, but in this case, I was not utilizing said speed. Either way, so that's going to be it for our comments and write-ins. If you want to write into the show, you can do so at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com, and you could be like Will and Jay, who like to write in. And we'll get started with the main episode now. Now that we're done with that. And we do have a guest filling in for Mike, at least for this week. And we have Mr. Dormamu.
Oh, hello there. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yes, thank you for coming and filling in. I put out a casting call in the realm of collectors, and I guess someone answered. Excuse me. So I guess people would know you best from any ROC show, or is it Enter the Realm specifically?
Well, I was born in the Highlands of Scotland over 400 years ago. I'm immortal and I'm not alone. No, for real though.
That was terrible.
I know it was. No,
Yeah.
try. Really, my name is Rob. Sometimes I go by Dormamu here and there. Mostly in the realm of collectors. I'm usually on the watching a lot of their great material, and somebody at one point had asked, well, why did you pick the name Dormamu for your profile? And this is in YouTube, and it's purely because when you're 25 and you're looking for online handles and someone else has the same name ideas as you go for those B-level comic characters that you read when you were a kid, and it just sticks because trying to come up with any other good username, especially these days, is pretty damn difficult against ones that are like smells your farts over 9,000.
That sounds
although
fantastic.
lately, these days I mostly go by Dad,
Daddy.
Well, since I'm not going to call you, I'm not going to call you Dad or Daddy. I think I'm just going to call you Dormabert from now on.
Dormamu works.
Dormabert. Yes.
Yeah.
Flamey-headed Rob.
He's playing it down too. He also helps them out over there. He's made some really cool videos and skits over there on.
I just happen to be quite good at quick memory and a very very quippy sardonic comments, which sometimes helps and sometimes does not.
And he's good with that. What's that face thing where you can face scan somebody on there?
Oh well, I mean, there's an application for everything out there these days. If you want to just fake somebody's face on something else.
He's a tech wizard.
Yeah, yes. but he's good. Don't let him lie, man. I hit him up one time. I'm like, here's these two gifts. Here's a picture of my face. Make these things happen. And within 30 seconds, he had them flip back around to me just so I could have a goofy gift to put into a post. I mean, he's good.
Nice.
It's a gift. But it really,
and a curse because then Ricky hits me up.
Yeah. Well, now I'll be hitting him up.
It's one of those things when you're in computers and you do IT for a living, and it winds up being both your passion as a child. I learned how to work on computers on my own, purely from Going to the library, and it just turns into something that's a hobby that then becomes a career. And you learn quickly where to go and what to do. And I like to think that it puts me ahead of the game where my kids will be concerned as they grow up into this age of everything, everywhere, all online.
So,
but
you'll have your kids well versed in meme currency.
oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. So they'll be meme rich. It'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You don't want to go into a
kids
GIF
will
war
just
with
see.
Dormamu.
By the time your kids are our age, they're literally going to be pulling out holographic memes out of their pockets as instant responses. So
yeah, no, I totally expect for them to be rich in whatever currency we currently value at that time.
It'll be memes.
Whether it's under President Ye or whomever, whatever we wind up with.
I've seen the movie. We end up with Terry
Overlord.
Crews as president.
We do end up with Terry Crews. Yes, and
Yes.
we are in the idiocracy. Sorry, folks, we're already there.
We've been buried in that reality for too long now, I think.
If y'all haven't seen that movie, I don't know why you're listening to this show.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like for myself, it kind of runs. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of it. I'm an East Coaster. I was in New York City born. I lived in North Kakalaki for a solid 2 decades. By the way, shout out to anybody who listens to this in the 919. Sorry you're stuck in traffic at this time. At least you picked a good podcast. But for the last 10 years, I've been in the rolling hills of Maryland.
Dude,
but I've seen it all.
I told him he was going to need to go thug life on watching shows, and he went legitimate thug life. He's from North Kakalaki. He's shouting out the 919. And I can't see him because our cameras are off, but he's probably doing a crip walk across his desk right now.
No, he's doing a wasp
waving
walk.
My shirt in the air like a helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
PD Pablo.
Oh, God.
Know your Raleigh rapper references. Come on.
Yes, we know PD Pablo.
We know PD Pablo.
Jesus.
But no, I
what did I get myself into?
Like my kids, I'm kind of that guy was a science fiction kid turned science fiction fan. I was raised on Arthur C. Clarke, Doctor Who, Trek, Wars, every cartoon I could inject in my Saturday morning bloodstream. And it's just kind of followed me along in life. So, the technology and the science fiction kind of meld together, but at this point we are at a point where I feel like the fiction has almost become that reality.
Yeah.
No, reality has become fiction is what it is.
It's kind of how science fiction's always worked, though. That made up make believe stuff has always been the stuff that drives scientists. Like when we were kids and we were nerds reading that stuff, we're like, "Oh, that'd be so cool if that could happen one day." Well, then one of those little kids grew up and became a scientist and made that shit happen for real in real life. And it's going to just continually be that way until they're just writing about real life and it just sounds like science fiction.
No, it's just time travelers going back and writing things into fiction and then inventing, quote unquote, inventing it so that they make all the money.
It's some English chick in a phone booth flying around doing shit.
No.
There you
go. We do not accept
Or John Wick.
Yes. John Wick, the time
John Wick in a phone booth.
I'm waiting for John Wick 5 where he travels through time.
John Wick in a phone booth. That's funny.
So are we going with John Wick or Fast and the Furious franchise will hit time travel first? Because I'm thinking
John Wick, but we'll see.
I think John Wick would go metaphysical, like with astral projecting and stuff. I think that's John Wick style.
No, John Wick's just going to figure out that he's been Neo all along. and then he realizes he's looking for Trinity, and it's just the John Wick movies are just the prequels to the last Matrix movie.
Oh God!
And so the whole time he's in his own personal modal or whatever.
I hope it's not related.
That's all it is.
Movie.
That's all it is.
This is his new dream state.
Either John Wick's going full quantum leap and jumping into Will Smith and slapping people. So.
No, because he would have just shot him from the thing, and nobody would have known who it was. I don't know. Chris Rock didn't kill his dog. Chris Rock didn't kill his dog, so it is what it is.
Sonic rings for everybody. That was still my favorite Will Smith meme.
Smacks him and the rings go everywhere.
Did you see that one with Chris Rock and him? With the Sonic rings all bouncing out of him? That shit was funny as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But no, I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I went back and listened to quite a bit, and going back on where we're at as a technologically advanced society. I enjoyed your discussions on robotic animals and how they're going to crave human flesh in the future.
I don't remember having that discussion, so I'm not sure
Yeah,
what you
it's the one
listened
where
to.
it's the one where I wanted robotic genocide.
No, I think he's
Remember the
talking
one where-
about, if he got back to episode that far back, I think he was talking about the when Matt was being very scared of Boston Dynamics robots.
Boston Dynamics dogs. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Then
the
it
thing
has to
is,
be the Beansy one. Yeah.
no, for me, you know, I said it's like, no, we don't have a craving for flesh. They're just going to be the things that tend to us while we are in our VR PlayStation bubbles floating in the vat, you know, they're the ones, scooping up our poop and or whatever, So as we evolve into the Matrix, that's just what it is. The Boston Dynamics robots that now serve as our maintenance. That's all they'll be. They'll just be human maintenance at that point. Got to keep the batteries going.
Meta is what, one step away from Ready Player 2? All we need is the biofeedback.
We're way too
They
close.
already have haptic suits.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
that's true.
We have some, but I don't think to that degree. But yeah, they're getting there.
That's
what who knows? Who knows what they're making at DARPA
out there, and somebody tries to make it happen. So
yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and roll into our weeks from there. Mine's pretty easy, so I guess I'll go first. I think Ricky should go last because he had a pretty eventful last week, so I think it might be a good idea. Yeah, you did. All right, so just very recent news. We went swimming yesterday for the first time in a few weeks, and it's hilarious because the wifey, while trying to tan, realizes that her last sunburn is still peeling. So it's like, oh, so you're going to try to burn on top of your peeling burn. So that ain't going to stick. And we did meet another new neighbor who happened to be hot. So it is what it is. But, it's funny. We've lived here for over a year now.
I didn't hear what you said.
Exactly. That was the point.
Yeah, I hate new neighbors. I hate meeting new neighbors. My neighbors next door put their house up for sale, and I try to talk them into staying. So I don't want new people to move in.
No, that's fine. But I mean, like, when I say neighbor, I mean they're in the complex. Like,
I got you.
She's on the other side of the complex. But anyway, she's nice.
You said she's hot? Is that why you whispered it?
Didn't say that at all, Ricky. You don't know what you're talking about. But the one thing we did, we talked to her for about like an hour and a half, just sitting out there. Everybody else left the pool, and it was sun was going down, and she gave us the scoop on a very, very like super creepy fucking other neighbor that lives one building over from her, and some of the shit that was going down with him and the girl in the office and all kinds of shit. I was like, damn, she's just spilling the tea on everybody. I was like,
then tell us, what was he doing with the girl in the office?
I don't know if they were technically banging, but she was sending him nudes while he was attempting to date the neighbor we talked to. And like they were friends on the other side. So it's like, what the fuck? It's like, you're over here, wanting to go out on dates with me, and now you're showing me that you got nudes from her. I was like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then she gave us a whole scoop on that motherfucker. The dude, not her. The lady in the office is gone now. She moved on to another complex where she gets paid more. So, cool. But let's see here. Yep, that was the end of that. I thought I had more written down, but I did not.
Did you take notes?
I did take notes because that way I can keep track of some of this shit. Because, well, every now and then we're gone for 2 weeks. So we gotta remember what the fuck happened. I recently got in volume 5 and 7 of the IDW comics. And no.
Still no 6?
No, I had 6 already. So 5, remember, so recap for everybody. 5 I ordered off of Amazon, and I still have not received that one. So I have to wait
till refund yet?
I have to wait till tomorrow to actually be able to issue a thing that Amazon will refund. I'm getting nothing but automated responses from the seller, even though I've repeatedly just replied, refund me immediately, refund me immediately, refund me immediately. And just getting automated responses. So that is some bullshit. But at least BBTS came through on volume 5, so I can read All Hail Megatron and that kind of stuff. So that fun.
Was great.
And along with that,
how far are you into the reading though?
I haven't started reading it just yet. I've been doing other stuff. I just got it Friday or Saturday, whatever day I sent the picture. And then along with that, I got the Eagle Moss Deep Space Nine. So
Nice.
only one step away from quote unquote completing my Eagle Moss collection. So I can get if I can get my XL Voyager, I'll be happy, and then I can just put it all away in the closet till I figure out where the fuck to put all my starships.
So have you heard anything more about Eagle Moss? Like,
Have
are they still
not.
shutting down? Nobody's getting their stuff? What's
I
going
haven't
on?
seen any other updates so
Did you
far.
see somebody pull up with a repo truck?
No, not that. No, if you didn't catch it, Eagle Moss is basically filing for bankruptcy. So they're, at least in the UK, what they have to do is they filed for an arbiter or something like that. Basically, somebody to come in and start that thing and organize it. So hopefully it just turns into them reorganizing the business, restructuring, selling off some assets and stuff like that, just so they can stay in business and get their asses back to making my fucking Ecto-1 parts.
How far are you away from completing?
I only need the gurney, which was supposed to be the next issue, and then all the stuff for the roof rack. So probably 3 or 4 issues. So 3 or 4 months, and it would be done.
Wow.
Yeah,
They got that close and gave up, huh?
Yeah, but you got to think, some people are done, or some people are just getting started. So they just
How is that? Oh, because they just started, or
They
so you
started-
started later than those people that already finished.
Exactly. So like I have to check with other people. I haven't seen if they actually ever finished all the parts or not.
I was gonna say, if they've already finished theirs, then that means those parts exist. They weren't making them one piece at a time.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I know that they are progressively doing stuff, or were progressively doing stuff, because they could make adjustments, like when they sent the replacement passenger door, when they realized they screwed up. So anybody who would have started later would get the correct door. Everyone else who's already way past that point would get it sent to them as an extra part. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. So, I mean, the problem with it being a progressive thing and everybody starts at a different point is you end up with parts backed up, from God knows where. But even if all the parts were done, it would be nice to know if I could just go ahead and knock it all out, Just let me buy all the parts outright and then let me finish it out instead of sitting here waiting to never know if I'll finish it. So, and, for anybody else who just started on some stuff, I feel for them. Because they had like several of them were complete already, like they're done, and then they had I think the Aston Martin came out after Ecto-1, and then they had a Titanic, I believe, that came out last. That barely got started. So
only Eagle Moss stuff I have is I have some DC statuette things, and then I got a couple of the fancy Batmobiles like that are in that clear display case and stuff. I got a couple of those. Like I got the animated one. I got the OG one that looks like the old Packard with the big fin on the back.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I think I got like one more, but that's really all the Eagle Moss stuff I got into.
In one conversation with Sean, I think I actually determined the proper car that was. I'd have to really dig back, like what actual vehicle that was. But and like I said, I have to dig way back in our conversation. Also, shout out to Sean.
Fuck Sean.
Yeah. As for watching, I did just watch all of the Terminal List. Finished it up right before we recorded. That was a hell of a show. We can talk about it a little bit more in depth after we get through our weeks. The wifey and I started watching Black Mirror on Saturday because she was just scrolling and clicked on it. And I went, God damn it. I didn't want to get into a show right now, but now I have to. Because I've always wanted to watch Black Mirror. I just never bothered to sit down and do so. And warning now for anybody who's jumping into the series, the seasons are backwards on Netflix. So it's starting at season 5, which is the most recent. So I don't know if there's any crossover episodes or any references in later episodes, because it is just an anthology series. Everything is individual. But we watched two episodes of season 5 before we realized what was up, and then started over at season 1. So we got through season 1, and we got 2 episodes into season 2, which were both really fucked up.
There's no real crossover with it. It's mostly, like you said, it's mostly anthology.
They're anthologies.
Yeah. And it's designed, and if you're looking at it from a deeper perspective, it's like quite messed up version of the Twilight Zone. Everything is
Yeah.
almost self-contained, but has a theme to it.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
main reason I was thinking if there was anything that might crop up is because there were similarities. Well, across the show, the technology is essentially all kind of on the same level. I think there's only one episode where it's like a weird jump in technology comparatively. But for instance, there's one of the episodes we watched last night was if you've seen it, Rob, but the one where everybody can access their memories and pull them up and stuff like that. It's the same kind of thing going on in their eyes that happened in season 5 with the like quote unquote VR adaptation thing that happened in season 5. So like it's almost like there's some crossover there.
It's
but
a real quick before y'all go further into this. It's a 1939 Cadillac Series 75 convertible.
Okay, yeah, the convertible one.
That was the original Batmobile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to Google it because it was
no, you're
driving me
fine.
nuts.
The other one that wasn't the convertible, the one that was like the big slope back version is I don't want to say it was a Mercedes. No, it was something else, but I'd have to look it up again. I looked for a long time trying to figure out exactly what kind of car it was. Because they reference one, but then there's a lot of details that are very different between the actual cars. But either way,
it was like one of those like Fair Ladies or some nonsense. Like they have a weird name like that. I know it's not that, but it's has a weird name like that.
Exactly. But either way, so we're gonna continue with Black Mirror. And like every episode is a mini movie. Like even though they're only like an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes, it's so in depth. You feel like you've been watching it for 2.5 hours. So I think the last one we watched before going to bed was the one with Haley Atwell, otherwise known as Agent Carter or Captain Carter from the Marvel universe. Still hot. And so her in that episode, her husband dies. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just agreeing still. Yeah.
Oh, still. Sorry. I didn't. But
you're talking about Peggy Carter, right?
Yes, Peggy Carter. Yeah.
She could definitely get it.
She can definitely get it. So, and it is a UK series, so most people have an accent throughout it. But occasionally there's Americans. I was really surprised when Topher Grace popped up out of nowhere. I was like, that's fucking Topher Grace being his best like Steve Jobs. Or what's his face? Zuck. He was like, yeah, he's being like Zuckerberg. There's a lot of stuff in there that is specifically referencing technology and the way we use it and abuse it and stuff like that. And like, but the one where her husband dies and she's offered a service or signed up for a service that like basically creates an AI chatbot of your dead loved one based on all of their social media, texts, emails, stuff like that. And then it just keeps evolving and evolving as the episode goes on. And then every episode ends on a fuck note. Like, it's crazy. Like, so I'm into it. And after watching Love, Death, and Robots, I was already kind of in that mindset. Like, so this just makes more sense. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, yeah, more Netflix stuff. So watch the new Bill Burr special live from Red Rocks.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty funny. I like Bill Burr. You know, I laughed. I did fall asleep. This is why I shouldn't watch stuff immediately after eating lunch, because I always end up falling asleep on the couch. But still funny. He's a fantastic comedian. I guess I wasn't necessarily in the mood at the moment when I watched it. But his abortion joke, like right at the tail end of the special, had me. I was like, that's it. There we go. He cemented it. I was like, I got it. If you haven't seen it, by all means, go watch it. It's great. Along with that, I watched the new Not stand-up from Dave Chappelle as well. And it was called What's in a Name? And it's like his kind of acceptance speech when his high school wanted to name, I guess, their new theater after him. And apparently there was a whole big brouhaha about it. The student body got together and said, no, can't do that. He's a transphobe and all this kind of stuff. So he wrote this whole big long speech and everything, and of course recorded the whole thing. And whether he's doing stand-up or just speaking,
He's a funny dude.
he's just fantastic, even beyond funny. Like, of course, he's a master of wordplay. And like, there's a lot of heavy stuff throughout it because he does talk about growing up in the area and everything that happened way back when. And the one thing that really got to me, and he was speaking about one of his favorite teachers, and like this is a really big, this whole thing he talked about, like it really hit me. So I'm going to quote him. He talks about it that the teacher gave us a particular lecture that it stuck with him. The whole thing went through it, and then he quote, "Ever since that lecture, I listened in his class intently. He was one of the only guys I would always get straight A's from, because I worked very hard, not to get his approval, but to avoid his disapproval." Like that actually hit me, because that's something different. Like, it's one thing when you're trying to win the approval of someone, whether it's a teacher or a parent or something like that. But when you like respect them on a different levels, that you're like, I don't want to let this person down. That means a bit more. So like that hit me. I was actually texting Bobby about that. I was like, dude, it sucks that you got rid of Netflix because you need to watch this shit. Actually, I started that conversation with sending him a screenshot of the Bill Burr special. I was like, you could be watching this, motherfucker.
But he's already seen it because he was talking about it, I think.
No, he didn't watch it. He wanted to watch it.
Isn't that oh, no, that's the reason why he canceled his Netflix, was because of that, right?
Prior to that, he's pissed off because he wanted to watch it, and then there was some other nonsense, yeah. Yeah, but, just do what you want to do, but I'm sure, and we all know someone will give him access. It's fine.
Somebody got him, yeah.
But yeah, but essentially, I think that's it for me. I mean, I got an order in from BBTS, and it'll be here eventually. I ordered a new toy, as it were. Oh, and I guess
you go in on the Blitzway?
No, fuck that. I don't have that kind of money. No, I pre-ordered a He-Man from Iron Studios, but I think that's the most amount of money I'm spending in one place for a while. At least
Did you do the one with the gray skull background, or just the
He-Man? Yeah, just with the fucking gray skull. Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna not have that. And they're the same size regardless, because you have the same base to stand on.
Same statue.
Yeah, it's the same statue, and it's actually incredibly similar to the Prince Adam with the sword. So it's almost like they just literally stripped him. It's kind of funny.
Just remolded it.
Yeah. So, and then I made sure before I pre-ordered it to measure my Besta where my Thundercats are. So I checked all the measurements for all the mutants that are coming from Thundercats with Mum-Ra. So those will all fit perfectly in my upper shelf in my Besta. My Thundercats are in the middle, and then I have still 2 inches of headroom on the bottom shelf for that He-Man statue to go. So I'm good on that. All right,
so I'm picturing your layout in my head.
Yeah.
And you made me think of something.
Okay.
Now, I know me personally, I usually do side-by-side villain and hero. Like, even if they're on different shelving units, they're parallel to each other,
Sure.
Next to each other. But if I do have to go top to bottom, some reason I always end up heroes above villains, unless it's a specific show or something where I happen to like the villains better.
Okay.
Do you set yours up like that, or is yours more of a line of sight thing? Like, I would rather be looking at these, so these, like, you're sitting at your desk, so the middle shelves are going to be more your line of sight without having to look up or down. So do you set it up like that, or do you set it up good guy over bad guy over good guy? How do you do yours?
It's probably more line of sight than anything. I haven't really thought that far ahead on this, because Mum-Ra right now is on the bottom, below the Thundercats. But there's a lot of room there, because that's where my Flame Toy stuff was beforehand, so I needed the extra space. Now they're on the other Besta, we're on the Transformer side. So Mum-Ra is too short for that area, technically speaking. But it's just with the mutants that are coming, the upper shelf, which I didn't have anything on, I just kind of, just made the room, because Bestas don't have a set, like, center shelf like Billy's do. Yeah. So I set the height at whatever. I forget exactly. No, I had other statues up there at one point, and then before I got them on the different shelf. So it just worked out that the measurements are going to go this way. So there's no plan on that. It's just the group of Mum-Ra and the mutants is going to be the top shelf. Thundercats are in the middle. And then
it's just wherever they fit.
it's where they fit at this point.
Gotcha.
But it's line of sight because I want the thing that looks the best to basically be at the eye line. So I want the Thundercats at eye line. On the case of the Power Rangers shelf, for the most part, MMPR stuff is at the eye line. On the other side of Transformers, all the big bots are in the middle on the eye line, stuff like that. So,
Gotcha.
but when it comes to Legends, we got to see how that's going to work out because put shit on the top shelf, be like, what the fuck is up there?
There's got to be all your B-listers up there in the top.
Something, I don't know. I got to figure that one out. But either way, I did one little thing, and that's because I worked on my Halo rifle that Ricky will never have.
I don't care
because I had to touch
I'm
up the
past
paint.
it.
Well, I still have the one that's unpainted, but I ordered the Nerf version of the Bulldog, which is their automatic shotgun.
Auto shotgun. Yeah.
So it was cheap as fuck. So I'm like, yep, I'm ordering that. So I'll have that to repaint later, and then at some point I'll buy the Needler when it finally drops.
And Derek immediately tried to hit you up. Could he have it? That shit was funny.
Everybody, by all means. All right, so I think that's gonna be it for my week, and we'll let Rob go next.
Oh, so I had the good fortune of taking last week off from work, so it was, but it was for bad reasons because it is still the summer for kids. So I actually wound up. It was a week of dad camp, if you will.
Oh,
So there was a lot of running around and activities, whether it was the beach or nature preserves or running around. My littles are in the still under teenage year range, so we've tried to foster some good outdoor habits. Some of the things that we enjoy doing is things like geocaching, where we'll I have the app on my phone, and I'm like, well, let's get in the car, go find a cache. And it's modern day treasure hunting if you've never done it.
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah,
That's the one where they put the rocks with like the little paintings on them or whatever.
Well, it's not just paintings. Usually what these are actual boxes or storage capsules that are buried in various places, and then they're marked by they're actually you actually log it with the U.S. Geological and Geographical Society as and there's a whole association with it where it's all these geocaches, and these things are lists. It used to be that it required a GPS. That was the kind of the origin of that, where you had to have a GPS because the GPS the coordinates would basically take you would use your GPS unit, and you would go hiking or go locating this cache. And it can be the sizes anywhere from a tiny little Polaroid film canister to a sandwich box, like a Ziploc sandwich box. Usually it's a sealed container. It's preferable when it's a sealed container. Or it can also be just a marker. And so you use, it's gotten to the point now you can actually use an app. There's several out there that have these marked positions. You can get in your car. It'll even navigate your car. Like you can use the car navigation to navigate to within a certain distance, and then you get within a certain number of feet, and you can use your phone to kind of navigate a plus or a minus X amount of feet from where it's at, and it'll buzz when you get near it. And so sometimes these caches are very small. They're kind of out of the way, and sometimes they're just kind of pretty obvious, but also pretty unique. And so we kind of it's a take a penny leave a penny kind of situation where you open it up, you got a treasure trove. Usually people will leave a log in there of what they've of who found it, where they found it, when they found it, and then you leave something in return.
I'm a child. My brain went somewhere else when you said they'd leave a log in there.
I know.
It's log.
It's log. So we did it was a lot of that this past week. A lot of swimming.
That's
so
cool.
you mentioned Shoky about swimming, and
Hot neighbors?
My oldest swims year round, both on team and also on practices. And so we had a lot of that this summer. I think I've swam more this summer, or really this year, than I had in my entire life. And I mentioned I was born in New York City, and really the only idea of a pool at that point was the water that collected in potholes. So I was never a great swimmer versus my kids or my spouse who are much better swimmers than I am.
They're like half
So
fishes.
well, I'll put it this way. So I had my moment of seeing my life flash before my eyes briefly as I was playfully pushed into the pool by one of my children, and then proceeded to glub glub until I coughed a spitting up water on the side of the pool with "We're so sorry, Dad."
Wow.
So
So you
I was like,
couldn't swim.
this is why Dad does not swim so much, because he basically is the equivalent of Bruce Willis in
What
Invincible,
was it, Hudson
where
Hawk?
water is my
Invincible.
weakness.
Yeah,
I
water
just
is
sink.
weakness.
I don't float. I sink. So
I
yeah,
also sink.
so yeah, it was a lot. So we had a lot of pool time where I basically watched my kids try to turn themselves into fish, and a lot of running around. But it was nice. It was nice taking the week off and getting that time. And in between, I've been working on kind of putting together my own stuff, my own collectibles, because I've
He was an
had
inbox collector.
well, I was an inbox collector, but it wasn't by choice. It was sort of like I wanted to have the shelves in a certain way, and I wanted to have a certain type of shelving and have lights. And I finally got around to doing these things, and now I'm actually unboxing things. And it's almost like finding figures that you forgot, but that are all new because, hey, you didn't realize you had them.
Mhm.
I personally, to answer that question, Ricky, I am a heroes above villain type of person, apparently, because I just happen to have more heroes than I do villains. But it also
Gotcha.
raises the question: just how many Wolverines do you really need?
All of them.
Um, all of them.
I mean, there is a multiverse, so
There is a multiverse, yes.
I
But
mean,
no, I
infinite.
also like I agree about the whole line of sight in terms of what you want for your collection. Like I don't do a lot of DC characters or a lot of ancillary characters, but like gargoyles, the NECA gargoyles in particular.
Hmm.
I have Goliath and I have Demona, and I'm making space for the top of the top of the display where they're going to go with the rest of the crew, because that
Right.
is my intent. You know, it's I'm planning ahead basically in terms of how I want things put up.
Yeah,
So I've unboxed these things, but I haven't actually like lined it all up yet and gotten it to where I'm
uh,
happy and satisfied.
that's
It's a
where I'm
work
at
in
right now.
progress. Yeah, it's a
And
work in progress. Plus, I try to take into account things like the dreaded dusting. Trying to keep things
yeah,
as as clutter free as
Canned
possible,
air
so
is your
that if I need
friend.
to blow, right,
yeah.
exactly, because
Um,
like I have my Black Series Star Wars stuff, and that's always like a dominoes on the shelf.
Mhm.
But I
dude,
did
Power Rangers are the same way, dude. That's like the two things that fall over more than anything is my NECA April O'Neil, the movie version,
mhm.
and
Unless you
my
know the cartoon one does it too. She's laying down in my DTOF right now, and I have non-slip pads underneath all my figures.
face down ass up. Uh,
Actually, she's just laying on her ass, so she
oh,
take a
that's even better.
fucking nap.
But
Mhm.
it kind of depends because like one problem is like I do have my billies secured, but the wife will go out to smoke and the door for the patio is on the other side of my billies. So if she slams that, it
Shakes
shakes
it. Yeah.
everything. So certain figures that have small feet or weak ankles, which is so many of the motherfuckers, they go down. You know, like April right now, like no joke. Even though she's on that little tiny base that NECA sent her with, she's leaning against Casey. Like I have her interviewing Casey Jones, like after he
In a
just beat the
very
shit out of them.
sexually provocative.
Yeah, so she's actually leaning against him, like the microphone is like in his chest, and she's like leaned in close to his face. It's kind of funny.
Hey.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to
but
record your heartbeat. Is
yeah, but like, who is it?
that a microphone? Or
Rokusaki.
are you happy to see me?
Well, if she's the one holding it, either way. But my Rokusaki kept falling over quite often as well. I'm just hoping my Ronin Warriors that are now on the shelf won't fall over, because that's just too much shit
Rokusaki,
to
that's
pick
one
up.
that became
It's a
Splinter,
lot
or the
of
one that
those are a lot of
became.
parts. Those
Yes,
are a lot of
exactly.
parts. Those
And
Ronin
yes, Ricky,
Warriors.
that's
Uh,
that's
yeah,
Shredder. That's Shredder's original name. So you're
yeah.
talking about arranging shelves, and like right now, I really have to take my arranging seriously because I've got too many Power Rangers figures for my current display. But my current display was just throw stuff up there. So now I need to prioritize, put shit away, reorganize. I'm even talking about the other day, I sat here for about 30 minutes staring at my Transformer shelves. I'm like, I think I'm going to reorganize this. And I'm going to move all my Planet X shelf to one side. And then I'm going to put all my big robots and legends on the other side. And then start
Or maybe I
balancing
just
shit
need
out.
more shelves, which is where I'm at.
I have no
I
more
would like
room.
to put out more stuff, but I need
Yeah.
more shelves in order to do that. And the tempered glass ones
Oh God,
will
yes.
not cut around lights.
This is also true. The one thing I technically have is actual shelves. Like I do have more shelves to put into the actual cabinet, but I need to reorganize in which to figure out how to do that. So like I have to start planning ahead from here on because I want to start doing dioramas for the displays, but I cannot grow anymore. I'm at maximum capacity. So I have to plan what I want to have where I want to have it. So that's why I'm going to start buckling down. I made that once I got past some of my bullshit last week. I'm like, I'm going to take this seriously and actually, instead of just finding somewhere else just to cram another figure, I'm going to figure out what I want to be where. So
Right.
like you're talking about your gargoyles, like, and I told Ricky this before, I'm going to have mine. I'm going to build like a rooftop diorama at the top of my billies and have them all like in their spot, like, you know, with their, excuse me, wings spread and stuff like that. So
If NECA doesn't put out stone versions of these things, they're fucking idiots.
yeah, but what I'm going to hate is if they do it at the end. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, if they do
After
it at the
everybody
end, it's gonna be-
customizes a bunch of them.
That's what I was gonna do.
Make their own.
I was going to buy a Thalog just to do a Goliath
Yeah, but
stone.
But you know, foam and paint are cheap. Buying actual branded accessories are a whole different story.
Exactly.
You know, that's potato third-party kit potato.
Yeah, but at least just buying the figure and just repainting them to look like stone is real easy.
No.
Yeah, that's
No, I'm saying
that's
I want
45
them
minutes.
I want them to be stone
Oh, no.
so that they don't
Oh,
all be in the same position. Not like actual stone, but I'm saying
Yeah, I
I
know what
don't
you
want
mean.
it. I don't like. I think Robert think I meant like a statuette or something. No, I mean I want them posable so that way, like this week
Yeah.
I got them crouched down.
They're
Next
just
week I'm gonna have them
they're in
standing up,
statue
but they're
form.
just
Yeah,
in
that's all it
stone
is.
form. Yeah,
No,
I want
we'll
to be
be-
able to move them into different positions
No.
while I'm fucking with them.
you know what they should do? They need to put out one that was like the toys, where like they had the breakaway stone that you could put
Oh
over
God!
the actual
You
figure.
push the button and it
That'd be
popped off.
Yes, it'd be so dumb. Dude, they do that kind of nonsense, you know? And Super 7 does too. So, I don't know. Maybe NECA, they love doing toy versions of crap.
Or maybe just a nice Lego-sized Empire State top of
There-
the Empire State Building kit.
There you go.
Mm.
I will ask, because I think, Ricky, you haven't gotten to Bona yet, have you?
Nope.
Okay.
All
So,
I have is Bronx and Goliath so far.
yeah, so you managed the Bronx. I still haven't managed that yet. So, I was going to ask Rob then, is it me, or did they go far more toon looking with Demona than Goliath?
They definitely did.
Yeah, she's
They
softer.
definitely did. Yes, it is softer. The expressions, I think, more than anything, are definitely more tuned, and the colors are a little bit more tuned.
Yeah, and she's not ripped.
Correct. Yes.
Where Goliath is like absurdly fucking ripped and
Yeah.
chiseled, like no pun intended, but like I kind of want like sloppy Goliath, like, you know, where he's definitely built but not ridiculously jacked like he is now.
Well, and
Considering we've already got one
smooth.
repaint just waiting for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
like I
you're
don't even
talking
know.
about you want them more smooth.
Yeah, I don't even know if they'll. Yeah, exactly. A little bit more smooth, like a fight. You know, like a wrestler would be. Not. He doesn't
I
have to
think
be.
more of the eyes too. I think.
Yeah,
part
that
of it
too.
is in the
Exactly.
eyes.
Exactly. So, yeah, hopefully they'll give us something along those lines. Maybe they'll give us more heads as well. Like, because
They need to figure out this fucking wing thing, dude. Because I'm not like we got one for Goliath, but it came with Bronx with his folded wings. But now we got Demona out, but she doesn't have folded wings. Fucking Thalog doesn't have.
they're
folded
just
wings.
they're just gonna sell a folded wing
Hudson
kit.
doesn't have folded wings. I mean, like they need to. I just put
Yeah.
on a box set with all of them.
Dude,
And
will
I'm
happen.
gonna say everybody needs to pay close attention. I could be wrong, but believe me when I tell you, I zoomed in as much as I could checking. But that Lexington,
Mhm.
its wings look weird to me. Like, okay, because in the cartoon, his wings are under his arms attached to his side. Like they're
Yeah,
always
They're
there.
webbed. Yeah.
If you look at the toy, it looks almost like they're plugged into his back and just kind of wrap around his side, so they're just there under his arms and body, like not actually attached. If you
You're
look,
not
there's
wrong. I
the
saw that too.
I didn't look that
if you
close. Let me look.
look at the part where it's supposed to be attached to his arm, you can see a thin gap run right through it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I
it,
saw
I'm
that
like,
too.
they fucking better not, dude. They fucking better not.
Well, again, they were trying to get these out to the SDCC so that they could show them off. So, you know, I think,
some of the shit's
I think that's
temporary.
part of why we haven't seen this massive release
Push
of
on
these,
them.
on the push of these, because they're fine tuning a lot. So I will see. I think it's a wait and see.
And at least some of the earlier images they showed of Lex he was definitely like rough prototype and quickly painted. Like he just looks like he's carved out of soap.
And one thing that a lot of people don't realize when we talk about the gargoyles is when it comes to toy companies, every single one of those gargoyles is different. It has to be a fresh mold on every single one of them. There's no cross contaminating in them. You can't repaint Goliath into Lexington.
Oh, I see the gaps you're talking about.
Yeah, you can't. The only one that allowed that was Goliath to Thalog, and then Goliath to the Iron gargoyle. And that's it. Those are the only ones that allow that repaint capability. Everything else is a unique mold.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at a really close picture of Lexington right here. And it looks like
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but it looks like his wings go up behind his arms, like up near the wrist. But like they are obviously they're not going to fold or anything else like that. So it's like, what are they going to do? Like they'll have to be removable if you want to have them in a relaxed pose. Yeah. Like,
which I'm understandable of, but they need to make it look more natural. Right now, they look kind of back from the arm, like it looks like the arm's kind of in front of the.
Oh, by the way,
maybe a way to tab into the arm so that it looks more like it's naturally out. Yeah.
But I forgot, what is his daughter's name? Does anybody remember? Angela. Okay. Yeah, so she's probably mostly a Demona retool, right?
She might be a retool, but I'm not getting her. I couldn't give a fuck less about Angela.
That head sculpt looks stupid, if I'm honest.
I couldn't care less.
It's definitely not the best.
I don't want to be reminded of that.
She's on my list for characters to have on my shelf with them. So it's like the core cast for sure. Elisa, maybe Xanatos.
Definitely got to have
everybody needs a William Riker on their shelf.
Yeah, definitely a Xanatos, and I'm already gonna head swap it onto the freaking Iron body and have him holding the helmet under his arm. Like a goob. I don't care. I'm gonna do it because it's gonna be fucking awesome.
How are they gonna show us? How are they gonna show us a Xanatos, but not an Elisa?
More importantly, what was his little lackey guy's name? The guy with the glasses.
Oh,
I liked him. He was like one of my favorite characters.
Puck, who was also
not Puck. Nope.
Ian.
No, he was Puck. He was Puck down the line.
He was Puck. Yep.
Well, later
he was retconned to be Puck the whole time.
Who turned out to be Puck, the god of mischief,
which was great.
Yeah. I liked him. I used to like when they would silver out his glasses, like to show a reflection or something. It used to creep me out for some reason when I was a kid.
It's such an anime trope.
Yeah. And I still remember to this day that was the first like kids cartoon I saw somebody get shot on.
Oh yeah.
That one where Brooklyn was playing with her gun and accidentally shot her.
Yeah, that was some serious shit too. That was
and
that was a very special episode.
Prime time afternoon. Yeah, parents flipped out about that shit.
Yeah. Okay, here's another good shot of Lex. Yeah, they're gonna have separate wings for him, like just to like have a folded down version, and because he also tended to walk on all fours, like because you know, so it's a little different. No, I'm just saying, like they're gonna have to do a lot to make that work with him because he was so unique that way. But like if
they're gonna do that wrap around like that, they're gonna have to get it really like hugging the body so it looks solid, or like Dormamu was saying, like tabbing in like in a
or two sets of arms, one with wings, one without, or something.
That would work for me too. So you just do an arm swap.
I don't think you're gonna swap the arms personally. I think they're gonna have the wings plug into the back of the hand.
Yeah.
And then I think what they'll do, because his wings never really went away, much like anyone else's, but they folded up in like a weird taco form. But like, yeah, they're gonna have to do something crazy there.
I just realized what I'm seeing. Majora in his armpit.
Sure. And then
let's go with that.
Yep. All right. So moving on from gargoyles.
So moving on from stacking figures. No, watching wise, I've been just kind of catching stuff as I go along as I've been unpacking items. And realistically, let's face it, dad life, and when you have energy. So, I was late to the party. I did finally get a chance over the last 2 weeks to watch Multiverse of Madness, and
I'm sorry.
well, me too. I'm not even going to go there right now. I did watch Uncharted because I figured, hey, Tom Holland, which also you should say I'm sorry to as well, because
I haven't seen it
We
yet,
haven't
and
seen
don't
it
make
yet.
me sad.
it was okay, but yeah, I don't know if it's really up
You're
to
the
your
second
It's not.
person that
It's not what the
we've
fans
heard say
if it's
that.
going to be
want.
in your wheelhouse. It might be a little too buddy.
And I own all the Uncharted's. I love them too. And Alan was saying the same thing last week. He's like, he has a personal attachment because of a date night with his wife, but other than that, it was just an okay movie.
Yeah, pretty much. But actually, I did have 2 wins for my actual watching. One of those was a documentary. I just happened to come across Nova had a documentary on the James Webb Space Telescope, which
Okay.
is the successor to Hubble that NASA had sent up, and we just started getting images of a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And apparently, you learn things from it, like you don't realize how long it took for them to get this project to happen. I mean, it was literally a 20-year effort. And so the history behind it and the technology behind it is very, very interesting, including the fact that it is the only telescope to have traveled well beyond any satellites that we have, any observatories that we've ever sent outside of our terrestrial atmosphere. So it goes over 10 times the distance for what Hubble could do, and it captures way more. But it took 20 years to get there, and it is literally, if you look at it from the 10,000 foot view, it's like the equivalent of a half megapixel camera versus a 2 megapixel at this point. You keep wondering, wow, if we've only come this far, how much more do we need to go to reach where we're at with what we can do with our cell phones at this point?
Yeah.
Because
I keep trying
it's
to tell
taken,
people that when they upgrade phones is it's not that huge of a difference. You can't between it like an iPhone 1 maybe and the brand new iPhone you could be able to tell the difference, but the differences are so minute from like a 9 to a 10, a 10 to 11. Like
I
people are nuts.
always skip a generation before I buy another one.
I skip 4 because it's the technology. I mean, the technology leaps with every iteration, but it's minute in between each version. But if you're skipping multiples, then you're really seeing the difference. And I kind of feel like a kid you kind of feel like that kid in the candy store because it's something that is so new and so much better. But in terms of this, like there was again the history. I highly suggest it for anybody that's looking for just a good 1 hour long documentary on space and exploration. It is they even have a live feed right now from the observatory itself of what they're currently doing a deep field on, and the images are just absolutely incredible. The second win, interestingly enough, was a recent movie that came out, the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal.
Yes.
Yeah, where he plays Nick
surprising.
Cage.
Quite surprising. I did not. I started out with expectations that he was going to kind of Jim Carrey that with like an Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but it actually turned out to be pretty fun and entertaining, and it actually makes me appreciate Pedro Pascal more as an actor and not just as the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was really quite good.
Where did you watch both of these? Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing.
Unbearable Weight was just a red box.
Okay.
But the Nova special is actually on YouTube for free.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
So that was my week.
Excellent. Ricky, anything important happen in your week?
I got in my NECA Usagi Yojimbo.
I did see that.
I got that in. I was excited about that. I have been waiting for him since they first started doing Turtles.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you that I am now on the countdown to being out on this line now. He was the one I needed to have for me to feel happy about my set.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be all about cuts, like who makes the cut who gets gone and who fills your spot? Because I skipped a few of them. Like, I don't give a fuck about the frogs. I don't have none of them.
I kind of like the
And,
frogs. Not gonna lie.
I
Like,
mean, they're cool and all, but
they're
I
just
don't need them in
cool,
my
like,
set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're cool, but I don't.
Now,
need
what
them in
about
my set.
battle toads? Do you need some battle toads?
If they made battle toads, like I know there was a third party made like one.
Yeah.
But they don't ever do all of them because it's some big stupid
there's
thing with their copyrights or something.
No, wait, it's not battle toad. Yeah, it is. There's a company making at least all the battle toad bad guys. Because they're on
the one that
BBTS.
put up. I think they're the one that put out the one battle toad so far.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know how they got part of it, but not all of it.
Yeah, I got that in. I got something finally en route I've been waiting for a while. Shozy hit me with my notification for my New Age Grimlock. So I'm excited about that. It'll be here in like 2 to 3 weeks now. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Let's see. Other than that, I think that's pretty much my whole week. Like nothing really.
No.
Yeah. My wife Kara and I, y'all have heard me talk about her a bunch. Well, now she's actually my wife, literally.
My wife.
We weren't actually married. We've been together for the better part of a decade, and feels like longer than that, but in a positive way.
So you put her in the ceremonial sack and you dragged her away.
Yep, and I whapped her with a stick and I threw her in the lake and she floated, so she's a witch, so we're down. So
good.
My congratulations and also my condolences on your future taxes.
Nope. Those don't get touched because I have children from a previous marriage, so we file separately.
Bingo.
Yep.
Either way, yes, congratulations to you too, because I was very much confused when I started seeing pictures on Facebook. I was like, what?
Because I mean, I consider okay, first of all, okay, I'm gonna do a mini rant. The institution of marriage as we know it today is trash. The marriage certificate was literally a receipt for something that you bought back in ancient times. I gave you my goats, you gave me my daughter, you gave me a receipt, boom, marriage contract. The actual marriage ceremony was something instituted by the church to make royals have to pay them during the Middle Ages to be able to consider themselves married, to make legally binding stuff between countries. So I have never been a huge fan of it as an institution.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that if someone says, and okay, so I was raised in a Judeo-Christian household, and the actual requirements in the Bible is strictly you make how you call it? Not an agreement. You make like a promise between you, God, and your wife that you guys are going to be together, and
covenant.
That's it. That's all. A covenant. Thank you. That's the fancy damn word. But
I've been to church.
You just do that, and that's all it really takes to be married. Everything else is just humankind made up nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, you could carve it on a tree, and that essentially counted.
Yep. Most people were surprised. Like I hit up with, I thought you guys were already married. I didn't know you weren't married. Because she's always been. She's my wife. That's how I introduced her to everybody.
Yep.
We have a house together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's the bonus mom to my kids. She's been in their lives since my youngest, who's now in double digits, was literally like 1.5 years old. So, it's just a thing. But about a month or so ago, I was in the hospital and I was incoherent and unable to talk to the doctor, describe anything. And she kept trying to tell them what's going on. And they literally told her they would not listen to her because she was not legally my wife. So I said, okay, well, let's go get that taken care of then. So we don't have to worry about that no more in the future. And so we got it done. We went and got married down at the courthouse. My mom came, her parents came. We took the boys. The boys were part of it. And now we're legal.
So, question though, because is there like no common law in Florida or what?
No, they got rid of common law years ago.
Oh,
it
really?
used to be common law in Florida, but they got rid of it years ago.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask because I know to some degree it definitely exists here in Texas, but you know, for me and Miss Shoky, we're also not technically married, but because
they used to have it.
Yeah, but because my work had a common law clause in the insurance. Because we've been together long enough, we have bills together, we live together, we're on a lease together, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had like 10 times the amount of shit they needed just to be able to qualify her for as my legal spouse in the issues of insurance. So, even though we don't have the same last name and all this and that, and one also, if we do get married officially on paper, she's not changing her name because it's a cool name.
Right.
It's like
Well,
I don't need her to change her name because it's a cool name.
well, that is one thing. Like, actually, Kara just spent today down at the Social Security office. She wanted to change her name like immediately.
Yeah.
So she went down while I was at work and did that, and then tried to go to the DMV, and DMV told she had to come back in like 2 days because it takes that long for it to click in the computer that her name has changed now or some nonsense.
Yeah.
But the biggest positive to come out of it was actually our kids' reaction to it. Like, her and I talked about it, and we're like, well, when should we tell them? And we discussed the pros and cons of how they would react to it. We didn't know what their thoughts processes would be on it and stuff, because their biological mom has been a giant twat waffle towards Kara.
Legally a twat waffle.
Yes. I copyrighted that term specifically for her. She literally, like, at one of my kids' birthday parties, like years ago, like I think he was like 4, somehow his mom's name got brought up, and we're in a house full of people, it's a whole family and friends are all over, and he just yelled out to Kara, he's like, my mom hates you, she says you're a horrible person, like, and Kara literally left the room crying, like, and it's just been a struggle dealing with the ex like that. And so we talked about it. We didn't know what it was going to come of it. So we just found, we're just going to tell them and just kind of deal with it. Like, if they take it badly, then we'll try to figure out how to make it better. And so we brought them out and we told them, and my oldest broke into a big grin and my youngest started crying. So I was like, oh, here we go. I'm like, what's wrong, buddy? He goes, nothing. I'm like, then why are you crying? He's like, I'm happy. I go, okay, well, that's awesome. We're happy that you guys are happy. But like, usually when you cry, even when you're happy, there's a reasoning behind it. And he's like, well, now if mom says anything bad about Miss Kara, we can tell her to stop because she's now legally our stepmom. Because that is one thing that my ex has always said. She's not related to you. You're not related to her. She's nothing to you guys, yada, yada, yada. So both my kids, logical little monsters that they are, like, well, now we can tell her she's wrong because she's our stepmom. So they're super excited about it. They loved being a part of the ceremony. I made them paper, rock, scissors over who gave up which ring. And it was fun. It was beautiful. Like, it was, I got to be me with Kara and, make her laugh a couple times up there and stuff, like during the do you, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Yeah.
And as soon as she said I do, I just leaned over just a little bit closer and I was like, sucker. And she just started laughing. She's like, you're not supposed to make me laugh. And it was nice. And then we'd already had plans to do something this weekend, because we get the kids during the summertime, week to week. And this was our last weekend with them before school starts back. So we wanted to do something big, kind of blow out the summer.
Oh yeah, it's August now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Damn.
So we kind of made a whole big thing of it, and we went down to Tampa, and we got a really nice suite in the hotel with like multiple rooms, and like just blew it all out. And we were picking things specific to each person that we thought they would like. Like, my oldest is both my kids are pretty intelligent. They're both gifted kids. And my oldest is a thinker, like hardcore thinker. So we went to an escape room. We decided that'd be something he'd like to do, be something like an escape room. And glad to say we escaped, we survived, and we beat it. It was pretty cool. And for Kara, okay, I'm going to say this. Melting pot. Don't know if y'all have ever heard of it.
Oh, I love the melting pot.
Okay, well, you and my wife can be best friends then, because I think it's the stupidest fucking thing in the world for me to give you $200 for me to cook my own fucking food.
Oh,
but it's cheese and meat in a pot of goodness.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
And I can do that at home and not pay you $200 for it. So I mean, like, I get it. It's
all about the experience.
Oh my God, shut up. You guys literally just synchronized your periods. Like, literally, that's what she's like. It's all about the experience. I'm like, it's fucking dark in here and there's fucking idiots that I don't know around. I mean, don't get me wrong. The food's edible.
That's the same thing as a podcast, Ricky.
Yeah, the cheese was good, and I like the dessert ones. It's the middle, the actual main course, the entree. I'm not a fan of because you're just boiling everything, and I think that's gross. But it
So
is what it is.
so
But
here,
Kara wanted that, so we went to Melting Pot and made a big hullabaloo. The boys had never been. Kara hadn't been in years because we used to have one here in town, but it shut down. And I was like, thank
so
God when it shut down.
so wait, it's not a oh, what's the word I'm
It's a
looking for?
fondue.
Fondue.
It's a
Okay, so it is
fondue
a fondue
restaurant.
place. Okay.
It literally is a
I think
fondue
we
restaurant.
had one nearby, and I think it closed down because it's Texas, and fuck that.
Yeah,
So
fuck that. Yeah. Well, we
I
had
don't
one
need
here
that
in town.
experience.
Yeah. We had one here in town. It went away. She
Actually,
was
I'm gonna
sad because we
Google.
used to go there on date nights all the time. And so we made a big thing of it. We went to this one. The boys had never been. So
Oh,
we
there's
went
one.
there. That was her thing. And then my youngest, I've talked about it before, I think on some of the other episodes, he's big into baseball. Like he was on the travel ball team and got picked for all-stars. Like that's his thing. He loves baseball. And so on Sunday, we took them to their first major league game. We went and saw the Rays play and I refuse to say it, they went and played the Cleveland Indians. And they lost to them 5-3.
Thanks. Now I have
But
to
it was
bleep that.
no, you don't.
Use the naughty
Because
word on the internet, Ricky. You have to bleep
no,
it
I
now.
didn't. Because every Cleveland fan in there was
You're not from
shouting
Cleveland,
about,
Ricky. You can't use that word.
I can do what I want to, but it's getting ridiculous because even like the Tampa Bay, they were the Devil Rays when I grew up down there, and they got rid of that because you can't say
Oh, that's right. They
devil.
were, weren't they?
Yeah.
Hey,
So then
listen,
it just
You can't
as
have
then
a
it became
devil
DC,
in
just
the name.
as somebody who lives right outside of DC,
the
where they
Nationals.
just renamed things. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, no,
they
Commanders now.
Oh yeah, that's
the
right. They're the
Commanders.
Commanders now. That's right. It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
The Washington football team.
That is the biggest load of horse shit I've ever heard. The
That was
Washington
my
football
favorite.
team.
Yeah. So
The
it's gotten
Redskins,
worse
you
with the
piece of
Rays.
shit.
Yeah. So I did not realize this because like, I haven't lived in Tampa in years, but they went from the Devil Rays to just the Rays, but they kept the Ray on the logo. They just dropped the devil part out, and now it's not even that. They dropped the manta ray off of the picture, and now it's literally like this gleaming little. It took me a half an hour staring at it trying to figure it out. If you look at the word rays, they
I'm
have
gonna
this
look it up.
yellow little like star looking thing on the R. It's supposed to be a fucking ray of sunshine. So now they're not even the fucking devil rays or the manta rays. They're the
That
fucking sun
is
rays.
stupid.
I mean, it's
I'm
getting
looking at it right
crazy.
now. That is fucking
Yep.
stupid.
Yep. So I'm like, whatever. I kept on the boys. I'm like, they're the Rays. They're the Devil Rays. I don't care. And like, I hit up Jeremy B because he's from Cleveland or in that area, and I told him we were going to the game, and he was telling me he's like, nobody up there, nobody calls them the Guardians, except for newspaper people and radio people. Not a single Cleveland fan will call them that. And like there was one guy like a couple rows over from us, young Go Indians or something, and I guess somebody said something to him. I didn't hear that part of it. He's like, fuck that, they're the Indians, Chief Wahoo for life. He's like, dude, I'm like, oh fuck, man, we're gonna get this whole section canceled. It's
Okay,
crazy.
so there's the Devil Rays logo. I'm looking back now. I'm looking at all the changes.
Yeah, the old school one with like the neon green and
Yep,
yellow.
that's what I'm
and
looking at.
Devil Rays. Yep. And then it became just the Rays with the Manta Ray, Devil Ray still underneath the word Rays.
Yeah.
Or coming off of Rays, and now it's the sunlight thing on the R.
Well, it looks like the sunlight thing's been there for a little bit, and like they've just been getting rid of everything else.
Yeah, slowly fading everything else out of it. So that's what it is. It's a ray of sunshine. I'm like, shut the fuck up. But anyways, it was fun. It was a blast. The boys loved it. I mean, we went full tilt. Like Karen and I talked, and she made up an excuse to go to the bathroom when we were in our seats, but really she was sneaking off, and she got them like branded major league caps to wear for the game. Got them the foam hands and all that stuff, and we just did it full tilt and let them really just have a blast with it. Of course, we did Cracker Jacks and the Nathan's hot dogs and pretzels, and like we just went batshit with it.
And see, that's the best part because your kids won't remember anything about the game, but they'll remember that you got them some swag.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
remember the experience, but
yeah, my youngest he's a very emotional person, and like I caught myself. I put it on Facebook, so I'll put it on here. I did tear up a little. Because my parents divorced when I was 9 months old.
1.
Aww, break break out your tissues.
Oh.
My parents divorced when I was really young, and I was raised by a single parent mom. So I didn't have that father son goes to a game type thing. So I got to do that with my kids instead. So kind of I was able to check my box and his box at the same time. So it was a really good time. We had a blast. It just is overwhelming how much fun we had. They were blown away by the whole entire experience of it, and then we came home last night.
So if I can ask, did Mrs. Ricky, did she decide to hyphenate or no?
Nope.
Good.
Full tilt.
Hyphenating is
Full
stupid.
tilt. Full tilt.
So
My wife hyphenated, but it was purely because at one point she thought she would be the last in the lineage, and also because way too often I have a name that is, while it is Puerto Rican, it is highly impronounceable to many, and quite frankly, at one point I offered to take her name because I then would sound like a
just to
weatherman.
make things easier.
Just to make things easier.
Yeah, more Spanish.
Dude, nobody can pronounce my last name most of the time either, so that's why I just shortened it.
Is it safe to assume that your wife is of Hispanic heritage also?
No, surprisingly not. And even more surprising, my wife speaks better Spanish than I ever will.
I believe it.
I am
That's
not
awesome.
a Spanish speaking in Puerto Rican. I am a
Nice.
I am a third generation.
NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail.
And
Yeah,
I just
that's out
don't.
the door.
It's just
You
out
do
the door. My wife
Spanglish?
speaks it better than I do. Yeah, I speak
That's
really
awesome.
good Spanglish.
See,
I actually
See, that's why I thought you
growing-
were going with the hyphenated was because she was Hispanic. You know the mother's name and the father's name and all that stuff. That's where I thought you were going with it.
Yeah, no. Growing up in the rolling hills of Astoria, Queens, I learned more curse words in Greek and Italian than I ever did in Spanish.
Yes, yes. Pafangulo. We just went through that last week with Alan
yes.
because his wife,
But yeah,
his wife is Italian.
no, I figured I'd ask because the wife, the spouse here, she decided to go with hyphen. So, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
I
Yeah,
stand by it being silly, but I understand your reasoning.
My mom did it when I was growing up. She was hyphenated because she didn't want my last name to be different from hers. She didn't want me to feel weird about her not having the same last name. But so when she got to, because when they were married, she just had his last name. But then when they got divorced, she went to hyphenated. And then when I became older and was able to understand more, she dropped the last name and just kept her maiden name.
Awesome.
So
You know what's funny?
it's pretty cool, and the boys are all like, we're the crew now, and they're making a big deal about it, and family day out, and like it was really cool. Like, it was fun.
Do I need to bleep that?
I just doxed myself all over the interwebs.
Yep. Dumbass. So Ricky has a bad habit of fucking talking. So
it's not a bad habit. I literally did it the first time by accident. Every time since then is I do it on purpose because it's funny.
it wasn't even a bad habit though. You told a story that I had to almost completely remove.
Oh yeah, well, because I'm just in here talking to friends and I forget we're recording it and putting it out for the world.
And it was perfectly innocent.
Yeah, well, some folks don't take it that way,
it's
and I'd
wife
rather
tales.
keep them happy than you happy. So,
it's wife tales.
Sorry to tell you. If that story came out, I might have had that story from my past weekend.
She's legally yours now. You can do whatever you want with her stories.
Every time she said something flippant this last weekend, I'm like, I have paperwork on you. You better fucking be careful.
Yep, I got you locked down now, bitch. It's mine. All right, so.
But yeah, that's pretty much the end of my week. I mean, got home late last night. They went back to the bio's house. And then I immediately had to get up for 3 o'clock this morning for work. So amazing and awesomeness.
Excellent. All right, so we're running short on time here, so let's get to rolling on some extra stuff that we haven't been able to talk about because we went a little bit early last week. So SDCC was going on while we were recording last week, so we actually ended up missing a bunch of stuff. So we did talk about the Marvel, the new updated Marvel timeline to a degree. So we did see images of that last week. By the way, we're going to be a week behind for everybody who's listening to this. We're slow rolling episodes for right now because we are still sans Mike.
Because go fuck yourself. Don't worry about why we're doing it.
Yep. So either way, we'll talk more about that right at the end. So SDCC did happen. There was a whole lot of trailers, but prior to that, we did get some sad news in, what was it, yesterday morning? Or was it this morning? Unfortunately, one of the living legends of sci-fi passed away. Nichelle Nichols
beamed up.
she beamed up to join everybody else who's passed on. So original Lieutenant Uhura, I do have to say that now because we do have multiple versions of her now. She passed away at the age of 89. Luckily, I guess from I believe in her sleep, if I recall, but from
Yeah,
natural
the family
causes.
said natural causes. Yeah.
So
They
that was
said
really
natural
good.
causes, but she did have she was diagnosed about 6 years, 7 years back with dementia.
Hmm.
So she was, but she was treating it, and it wasn't severe enough to the point that it was debilitating her.
Yeah.
It was severe enough for her to have some memory loss at times, supposedly.
Yeah. Well, that's where
I'm
my
throwing
dad
a
currently is,
I'm throwing
unfortunately,
a
and he's
picture in
89
the
too.
show. I'm throwing a picture in the show notes that I saw, and it absolutely made me like
Oh
kind of
yeah, I was
not
gonna share
tear up,
this
but
and I
choke up
forgot
a
to.
little.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that exact
it
thing
was
too.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yep. It's really sad. Um, but yeah, I was just reading through the article that we have shared. It will be linked down below. Everything that we're gonna talk about real quick is gonna be linked down below. But yeah, that was sad just to hear about that. Like first week, I was like, oh shit. I was like, she was cool. You know,
Her
basically.
biography is pretty amazing. She was a singer and a dancer.
Mhm.
She apparently worked uh, was found by Duke Ellington. Like it was and she it just kind of her career started out that way. She wasn't even in any type of TV or film roles until she had like a bit part in an older movie, and then she had auditioned for Gene Roddenberry, and that's when she took off. And she just out of all of the actors that had taken the role, Nimoy at one point was like, "Oh, please stop asking me to live long and prosper." She was one of those.
Hmm.
She was one of the
She was
few
on
that
board.
that really embraced it. Like she every time she was asked, can you do some sort of voice work, whether it was the animated
Yeah.
show, an appearance on Family Guy, an appearance on any type of media where they wanted her to be Uhura, she was there. And so she really took that and took it took that to the next level. So props to her and her
Yeah.
career.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, and unfortunately, I don't know what else she did other than Star Trek. If I'm honest, post
She
Trek, I
did a lot
guess.
of voiceover work actually for like NASA for their documentaries.
I saw I
Yeah.
saw in there
I'm
some of the
feeding.
involvement of that. What?
Yeah, but she was a huge proponent of NASA. She was one that had the best relationship with Gene. Some said that it was because they actually had a relationship at one point.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but it was yeah, that was even out of her like IMDb, because I did my homework yesterday, just looking at it, and
Hmm.
a lot of her roles enveloped that character.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had a
Um.
couple of bit parts here and there on several shows,
Yep.
several other non-science fiction based shows. But overall, like, yeah, that was
But
her
Uhura
that was her
was
bread and butter.
who she was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, at least she got the movie money in there for a few of the movies. Um. Quite a bit, actually. I guess quite a bit of the original series movies. Then she was involved
Yeah.
with until I guess the later ones when. Sorry, I'm reading Ricky's messages. But yeah, no, look, at least she had a good long life. She made her way even towards actually getting women into space in the first place, and then actually getting black astronauts and whatnot as well. So for a science fiction actress to be able to play a role in real world space travel and whatnot was pretty meaningful, and I'm sure.
And if you go back and look, one of the big things I think about it is if you go back and watch the original Star Trek, her parts were pretty minimalistic. She
Mhm.
wasn't like she was a crew member, but she wasn't like a main crew member, if that makes any kind of sense. You
Well,
know
I
what I
mean, she
mean?
was the
But
communications officer.
she carried herself with such dignity, even though, hey, you got a phone call on line one. I mean, technically she was an outer space secretary, but she treated it like it was the most important thing. And I think that that dignity is something she carried over into the real world. She also had in the show, and she was always very like Dormammu was saying, very serious about it. She loved the notoriety she got from it. She always tried to use it towards positive stuff.
Yeah.
She just
Well, I mean,
seemed like a very great person, just like in general, like somebody you'd want to sit down and have a cup of coffee with and just talk to, because she just seemed like an amazing person.
right. And keep in mind, like because of her and Shatner in that one episode, that was the
Mhm.
first televised interracial kiss.
Not the first.
Prime time.
No, not
one
the
of the,
first. One of the
one of the
first.
first prime times.
Yeah.
But it was, I think, because it was so groundbreaking. And I actually went and I had looked. I remember this from another documentary a while back, that apparently Desilu Productions actually fought the network to ensure that that would air. They
Makes
were
sense.
adamant about
Makes sense.
it.
Uh,
Yeah,
We
what
there-
a
we all
what a
there?
Yes,
wonderful
awkward
what a
pause.
wonderful career and a wonderful
Awkward
yeah,
pause.
that guy. I thought everything just cut out. I was like, what just
No,
happened?
we all just happened to stop talking, and no one knew what next to
moment
say.
of silence.
It was a
folks.
moment of silence.
Moment of silence from
Accidental
Michelle. There you
moment
go.
of silence. There we go. That's why the
Yep.
show is called what it is.
Yep.
It's because we
Beautiful
gotta-
woman that led a beautiful life and was a great human being at the end
very
of the
much
day.
so. Very much so.
Great.
But it kind of sucks though, because Shatner's the only one who's actually been able to go to space.
Roddenberry went first,
Yeah.
Did he? Or did he only get low order?
and Scotty. Yeah, they launched
Yeah,
their ashes.
if you count their ashes, yes. But
Oh, the ashes.
Oh, yeah, the nothing.
Well,
Have you ever been to space? Then their ashes are cooler than you, motherfucker.
they at least one person got to experience space, not just have their mortal remains flung out into the vacuum of nothingness to be fucking rained
Technically,
upon by
ashes are
things.
not mortal remains. They're just ashes.
It's got DNA in it. Either way, moving on. Moving on to
But
the actual
yes.
SDC stuff, because that would have been tragic. And apparently, I think the last con she went to was a few years ago in LA Comic Con, not SDCC. So at least she got to spend some time with nerds in her last few
Yep.
years. So
And
that's
she was
awesome.
always like, from every interview I've ever seen or anybody that's ever interacted with her, she was just like the sweetest, nicest person to talk to. It was not like approaching like Shatner, where he's like, who the fuck are you? And I'm William fucking Shatner. Like she was never like that.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I see
So
that.
more SDC stuff, because
Yes,
we can
yes,
be,
all right,
we can
read
be
a message.
sad talking about a good person. So
Yeah. So from Trek to Wars, very recently, actually, this is not SDCC, but I'm counting it. God damn it. The Andor trailer, teaser trailer, official trailer, whatever you want to call it, just dropped, and it's a prequel, quote unquote, to Rogue One.
it's a prequel of a prequel of a prequel.
It's somewhere in there. Yep. It's very meta. Either way, it looks fantastic.
do you think we'll actually see the Bothan spies die this time?
I don't know. I don't know if they'll actually show us what the fuck a Bothan is this time.
be
All I know is that
Do
two
you even
tubes.
Star Wars, bro?
Have they ever actually showed us what a Bothan is?
They've never shown us, but we know what Bothans look like from the books.
Yeah,
If you're
books don't
real
count.
Star Wars.
Books don't count anymore.
Sure they do.
Nope. The books only count when they
They look
show
like
us finally.
werewolves.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they were just using it as an overall name. Like the group was Bothans, and then they went, "Oh, that's an actual thing." Fuck, shouldn't have wrote that down. Either way, this is definitely the most cinematic looking of any Star Wars series that's come so far. Like it just looks like
Agreed.
it's a movie. It's insane, and we get two tubes, so Bobby's happy.
Well, we get 1.5 tubes.
No, because each one is called two tubes, and we get another.
Forrest Whitaker. Does that even
Oh
count?
Yes,
God!
we get a
Forrest
slight.
Whitaker?
And somehow they de-aged his fucking eye, so it's not cockeyed in this one, man. Oh, fucking crazy.
So, question, guys. You remember back when the first Rogue One trailer dropped? Do you remember what Saw Gerrera looked like in the original trailer?
Mm-hmm.
They just
What?
showed him with like the little mouth, with the little cover
No.
thing, like you get at the hospital, right?
He had a shaved head. He had no beard, or he had a very short beard. Like, he looked ridiculously different in the original trailer for the show.
Yeah.
So it's funny, like this is an in between. I guess was he in Rebels or Clone Wars, or was he in both?
Rebels. Well,
okay.
I think he did do a Clone Wars one too, but yeah, Rebels
He
is
did a
where he had the
Clone
big
Wars
story
one, but
arc.
I don't know if he's
I think it was the sister, and he just kind of popped in at one point in
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
So we get to see a little bit more of that timeline in the beginning of this era. So I mean, I'm down for it. Like to see a little bit more of the underbelly, and not to mention the dirtier parts of the rebellion. You know, people doing stuff that's not the white ships or the people in the fancy robes talking in secret in
Dude,
the
it
back
looks
room.
beautiful.
Oh, now we
Like
get
the
fat
cities,
Imperials.
the
Exactly.
cityscapes look beautiful.
Yes.
Now we get fat Imperials.
Yep.
And did you notice the tie-in to the Mandalorian? They got that dude from the Mandalorian's going to be in this when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Which
The one
one?
that he went, the one that he went and got the job from to go get Grogu.
Oh, is that who Stellan Skarsgård is supposed to be playing?
Yeah, he's that guy when he's younger.
Oh, he's the client.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yep.
Instead of de-aging the actor, they're just getting someone who kind of looks like him and just using him.
No, it's the same guy.
No, it's
Same
not.
guy.
It's the same guy.
It looks like the same guy.
No, not even close. Not the same guy.
Maybe we're
Stellan
not talking about the
Skarsgård.
same.
They're talking about the guy that he was fetching Baby Yoda for.
Mm-hmm. The older dude.
Yeah, that's not the same guy. That's not even close to the same guy.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I only watched the video like once. Like
Yeah,
2
no,
seconds
it's not the
before we
same.
started
That's not Stellan Skarsgård.
I was too busy trying to focus with the subtitles on for the bad accents.
Yeah.
In
this.
order
some-
to get in past the Imperials,
There's some
you just
pretty
walk in past
raunchy
them.
accents in there. I'll give you credit.
Give long
Remember
hair.
when we were all used to complain about how they had British accents? I bet you we wish they had those fucking days back.
Now,
Maybe we could
I'll-
understand
you
those
wouldn't believe.
dudes.
well, actually, the thing is, we're going to get a lot more people without accents because only the imps have accent, except for the stormtroopers. Because you could imagine a stormtrooper with a British accent. That'd be weird.
Well, they have a New Zealand accent.
No, the clone troopers did, not stormtroopers.
And the first batch of
Not the
stormtroopers were
stormtrooper-
just
yeah, no,
stormtroopers.
remember the stormtroopers are just like they're like Boston Harbor guys.
Yeah.
But that's late. But that's later.
Well, because they eventually kill all the clones
Yeah, well, they die off.
and replace them. No, they executed a lot of them in the updated canon. They're just like, nope, can't trust them anymore. Fuck this. We're going to go with the way we want.
And you're totally right, Shoki, about it being way more cinematic.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
think my biggest thing isn't so much the look; it's the illusions that that you get out of the.
It's not shot on a
What they're
sound
writing.
stage.
Yes,
well,
it is. Well, it is and it
Please
isn't.
stop getting prequels to prequels. That's what I would love.
Well, I like the idea
Yes.
of filling in the gaps, but like start at the beginning of the gap instead of going backwards retroactively through the gap.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
so
the
you
weird
have
part.
you have episode 1, and now we have the one that comes after 8. So I want something in Star
Wait.
Wars that happens.
They put something after 8?
I mean, supposedly,
Oh, okay.
but I
haven't
want
seen
something that comes way after 8 or way before 1. I don't want anything in between. After
Yeah.
this, get it out your
I'm-
system, Disney. I'm tired
well,
of it. I'm
you
done with
know,
it.
You
High
know,
Republic is coming.
High Republic's coming,
is.
but
Supposedly.
so
supposedly.
hold on. I have to break your brain a little bit though, Ricky. They've already greenlit the second season, and they're planning on 3 seasons of Andor. So
How? How the
Whoa.
fuck are they gonna have 3
Because
seasons?
they're
We know
building
how
up-
It ends. He
they're-
fucking dies. In
they're
the fucking
basically
Deep Impact
building all the
moment
way-
at the end of fucking.
hold on, they're building it up to Rogue One.
Here's the build up to Rogue One. Hey, we found the shit. Kill those Bothans. Boom. Rogue One
Yeah.
starts.
But
Okay, got it.
We're going to see a lot more of the guerrilla tactics and a lot of the other stuff behind the scenes
Oh,
of the
I don't need
actual
none of that
things.
shit. I'm
Well,
tired of
I-
Mandalorian.
It's what's going to
I'm
happen.
tired of
You know what?
Grogu. tired
My
of all
take
that
from it
shit.
is, as long as we get a better head sculpt eventually of what the
Oh,
actor
Jesus, yeah.
that represents Cassian Andor
Yeah,
is supposed
Diego
to look
Luna.
like,
Well, I thought we got a better
Poor
Diego. The
Diego.
second
Poor
release
Diego.
got Diego Luna.
The second one was better than the first one, but it still looks like soft putty.
I guess that's true. That's true.
Very true.
Also, since you
Plus he gets
mentioned
the
it,
Dustbin bot. I call him Dustbin Andor.
Oh, well, eventually, hold on. If this show goes long enough, we will see him meeting K2SO, and that's worth it in its own right.
They're not
That is
going
worth
to.
it.
They're not
Yeah.
going to show that.
If it's building all the way up to the beginning
Oh,
of
you know
Rogue
what? I
One,
take
it
it back.
is.
This is Disney. Of course they're going to fucking. What they're going to do is they're going to do a whole season of somebody building K2SO. So, I mean, it's going to be fucking all
Well,
kinds of
he's
stupid
going to
shit.
reprogram. He's going to kidnap and reprogram.
And the only reason why I'd be okay with it is it's Alan Tudyk, and I will
Oh.
literally watch that man fucking talk about paint drying.
I mean, we've seen him pretend to be animals. So, I mean,
Nope.
he does a lot of voiceovers for animals in Pixar movies. Or,
Yep.
Yep. Or
It's true.
at least Disney and not Pixar. But
I'm good with anything Alan
Star-
Tudyk, but I'm tired of anything ananywhere in between episodes 1 and 8. And
I
the one
agree.
after.
I agree
I'm
that they
tired
need
of
to
it.
get more out of the way. But that's one, at least with Mando,
I know
it's at least past fucking Jedi. You know, because we do have.
but it's still before 8, so it's still in the same. They still have to try to tie all of it in. They're still gonna try to make everything kind of. Oh, look, there's fucking IG-11. Oh no, we're just gonna call him. He's IG-88, but we're gonna call him 11, so it's somebody different. Oh, but now we got to bring Boba Fett in. No, I'm tired of it. I'm done with it. I'm Disney needs to fucking relax some. And I know everybody's all excited about them going High Republic, but everybody's also still living in the fact that High Republic is strictly considered Legends now in Disney, so they can make High Republic happen the year before fucking episode 1, and there's nothing we can fucking do about it. Because if you think they're not gonna tie Yoda back into that fucking shit, so they're still gonna put it a lot closer than the High Republic it should have been, y'all are full of shit. They're gonna find a way to tie whatever the fuck they make into this Star Wars that we know, because they think we can't handle anything outside of it. They'll have Yoda going around as baby Grogu in that motherfucker. I'm telling you now. I'm calling it fucking now, because Disney can't help themselves.
We'll get to the Grogu in just a few minutes.
We got lots of Grogu.
Fucking Grogu.
Well, I
didn't even watch. Okay, and just so you know, I saw you put the actual official trailer in there. I still haven't seen it because I gave up on the armpit cam one. I tried to watch it.
No, I
couldn't
didn't.
handle it.
It was rough.
No, I didn't. That's just a leak.
Oh, it says official trailer.
No,
Oh.
it's a leak, and it's just as bad of a.
Yeah, no,
just
it's
as
a
bad.
leak. It's just they edited it to eliminate.
Is it the armpit camera one where you can like?
It's
see
not that bad.
The other people.
It's
Okay,
not- it's not
I
that
gave
one.
up on that one and didn't even bother with this
No,
one. Yet,
yeah, the fact
is
is I didn't realize that they put official trailer in the thumbnail, because that's edited from the first time probably. But either way, so yeah, the Mandalorian trailer, actually virtually everything fucking leaked from Celebration. It's just funny.
Yeah.
No, it was from Celebration.
Well,
It
that was
wasn't
from
SD.
Celebration.
Yeah, so weeks ago, like over a month
Yeah.
ago. So either way, the Mandalorian season 3 trailer, I'm interested because there's a lot of shit going on there, and it's focusing specifically on actual Mandalorians, not Boba Fettians. So I'm actually on
they're
board.
going to supposedly be on Mandalore, and like
Yep.
they're giving little
They
hints
teased.
that
They
all
actually
that's gonna happen.
they show Mandalore to a degree. Somebody, possibly our Mando, as it is, flying over Mandalore. I think what we're basically going to see is the power struggle between him and Bo-Katan, and then whatever the fuck the.
Oh yeah, because he
Imperials.
has the dark saber and she wants the dark saber and blah
she's
blah
and
blah.
she's too
So
big
we're
of a
just
pussy to take it.
We're just rehashing Rebels at this fucking point. I mean, they can't.
But we're gonna get
fucking help
Sabine
themselves.
finally, probably.
No,
Who knows?
they're gonna ruin that shit too, man.
We're gonna
They need to
see.
fucking
We're
stop.
gonna end up seeing Kanan
If
Jarrus.
Ezra shows up,
We're gonna
I'm
have
done.
Ezra. Well, they're gonna. No, Ezra is gonna be in.
If they show Ezra live action, I'm out.
No, that's the whole point of Ahsoka.
Oh fuck. Me, man.
Ahsoka's supposed to be looking for Ezra / Thrawn. So.
And they're gonna ruin Thrawn too. That's a bad motherfucker in the books and a bad motherfucker in the comics. And he was pretty legit in the fucking cartoon series too.
And he's
and
coming to live action, motherfucker.
They're gonna
He's
fuck
coming.
him up like they did with the Inquisitors, because the Inquisitors might have been dumb with the helicopter blades and all that shit, but they at least looked kind of cool, and you thought they were kind of creepy. Now and then they made him a fucking egghead in the fucking bullshit ass fucking bullshit. I'm just give me goddamn Tourette's. Fuck you, Disney.
I just have to laugh at him. Either way, speaking of Disney,
It makes me so mad. They're just shitting on. Stop it, Disney.
yeah. So either way, Disney also dropped some more trailers for upcoming Marvel properties, including the full-on official trailer for She-Hulk: Attorney at Law.
Look shit.
No, I'm on board.
Nope, I'm not. You know why? Because they're making Hulk into Thor. I don't need more wubba dub dub bullshit with my fucking Avengers, man. They need to fucking relax.
Well, I'm still gonna watch it.
She-Hulk is a serious comic. It was a serious comic to read. She was not funny, haha, snarky. She was like snarky side of the mouth shit talker.
Yeah,
Not.
I'm pretty sure she's gonna be that.
Yeah, and then this one she wants to like pick up dudes and bang them against the wall. Get the fuck out of here, man. Oh God.
I feel like that's gonna be
and then
one episode, but the whole point is it's gonna be a law drama comedy. to a degree, but I'm feeling like, at least from this trailer, I'm not seeing as much comedy as they were leaning in with the teasers.
See, now if it was Law and Order She-Hulk, I'd be awesome. But they went Ally McBeal She-Hulk, and I'm out. I'm
Yeah,
gonna watch it just because it's there, but I'm gonna do just like Miss Marvel. I'll wait till the
I
last
don't know if
episode.
I don't know if I particularly see Ally McBeal. I think part of it, I
Boston
think,
Legal.
is like
I see Boston
yeah, a
Legal.
little bit of Boston Legal,
Yeah.
but I think
Maybe
part
that,
of it
maybe
is
Speaking
you
of
know,
Shatner.
the note that I wrote down for this is literally 2 words: pedestal expectations.
Yes.
Because I think here's the thing: we're paying for a subscription for Disney Plus, which means we're basically paying to have something made. It's a content, it's a digital content, it's a TV show.
Yes.
Okay. Now, granted, we're not paying for, you know, Full House. We're not paying for, you know, TGI Friday here.
We were,
but it
paying
does
for
feel a little bit like that with this. So I think that part of it is a little bit of expectations on the parts of the fans, because there's a
Right.
fantasy versus the reality of what you actually get. Like, you know,
We go through this every
actually,
time
my
with
fan
Mike.
fiction of She-Hulk doesn't really match to what I'm seeing.
It doesn't.
The
Yeah.
CGI
Well, we kind of
doesn't work
talked about
for me.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, and
We
that-
talked about that with expectations versus reality.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I
Talk-
get
talk-
that. I don't want straight. Now, Mike wants straight out of the comics. He wants page 1 to be the first minute of it, page 2 to be the second minute of it.
Yeah.
He wants it to be just like that. I don't want that. I want
Right.
the spirit to stay the same, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want to with the character. But this,
And
they're
I
not.
agree with
They've
that.
changed that. She's not She-Hulk from the comics at all. That's
I
not
do
She-Hulk.
agree with that. I do agree with that.
And
I'm going
she's-
to wait and see though, because I want to see where they're going to try to go with this. If they're going to be like, ha ha, this is, you know, this is your here's your fourth wall break of, you know, of a character.
They've
Or
already
if they're
done it in the
actually gonna-
commercials.
I mean, they
She's
did
done
it
a
in the
fourth
commercials,
wall
obviously,
break.
but
Hulk is a comedy guy doing fucking downward facing dog and joking around and bullshitting and stuff. I mean, come on, man. They are just, oh no.
Well,
People laughed at Thor, so now we got to do it with fucking all of them.
well, the thing is, at least with Hulk or Banner, however you want to call it here, Smart Hulk, he's hanging out with his cousin. He's not doing Avengers shit. He's helping
First of all,
somebody
Smart
else.
Hulk, what, like the Science Hulk was not with She-Hulk.
It doesn't matter.
Science Hulk was pre-She-Hulk.
It doesn't matter. This is what we're doing now. We're here. We're
I
in
know.
the MCU. So we can't. Here's the idea. We're never going to talk about the comics ever again when we're talking about the MCU shit. Because all we have to go from
Be like, this
is
what
the
they changed.
MCU. Yeah, they didn't change anything. They started from where they're at now, and they're creating
They
new
changed
shit.
her character.
No, they
She's
didn't.
not a funny character in the
No, they
comics.
didn't.
And they're
This
trying to make her
this version right here of this character has never existed.
You can take your multiverse of madness and shove it right up your fucking pooper, Shoki. They kept
But-
the fucking spirit the same.
But the whole point is they don't have to have anything the same ever again, and everyone has to drop it because it's
No,
stupid.
we don't have to drop it. We can still bitch about it.
You can
There
bitch
ain't
about
no
it, but it's
dropping
so dumb. And this is what we always talk about. Fan expectations are ruining shows because you will never be happy because it's never going to be the exact thing we just talked about a second ago.
That's
And guess
that's
what?
not true.
So she's going to be funny, or it's going to be a comedy, or it's going to be a thing where she is thrown into a crazy situation because now she has to represent supervillains or prosecute them, whichever way it's supposed to be. I don't think she's supposed to be defense, but like the whole point of this is to set up the Thunderbolts. Because that's why we're getting
let's
the
wait till they
Cube.
ruin that shit.
So we're getting Abomination back for the first time since his only other
And they're
appearance.
actually bringing back what's his face for it too. No,
Yeah.
he's been in 2 movies.
Well, technically, he was sort of in Shang-Chi. But also,
that
that's
still
where we get
counts.
Wong. So, but we also don't know where this is going to fit in a timeline, whether it's prior to Shang-Chi or not. We'll see. We won't know until it happens. But I think everybody is losing the fact that we get another important lawyer in this show.
Matt Murdock.
Yep.
Yeah, we get Matt Murdock in.
But he's getting his own show too.
Yeah,
So
down the line.
I'm more interested to see what Disney does with that.
Yeah.
Because
So we'll see what happens there.
There is no preconceived notion from the comics. There's a preconceived notion from that character in universe in a show that already exists that I can go watch right fucking now, and I want to see what they do with it.
it made everybody happy because
Yeah.
I was happy
Yep.
watching it.
And
Because you know why? They
They
kept the spirit the same. It was not verbatim page for page from the comics, but they kept the fucking spirit the same.
But if I can be honest for a moment, Mark Ruffalo, he does have a need to be funny because, and I'm sorry, Mark,
I agree.
if you ever get to listen to this podcast, if you've ever watched a Mark Ruffalo movie where he's not being an MCU character, he really needs to be funny because every other movie is like a source of NyQuil. He is
So
not.
give
He
him
is a
the chance to
dry
be.
actor.
But the funny thing is, I can also see, given everything that has happened in the MCU up to this point, tragedy after loss after fucking everything's gone. If Hulk wants to fuck off to an island on his own and then help train his cousin to be a Hulk as well, and he wants to be lighthearted rather than being down in the dumps about everything he's fucking lost, I'm okay with that.
But that's Hulk. But that's literally the essence of Hulk. He is downhearted. He is constantly, because he's constantly battling himself, let alone everything that's happening around outside of him.
He's not now.
He is never happy. He's not excited. He's not funny. He doesn't tell fucking jokes because internally he is constantly struggling to keep the monster away.
Except that's not what he is now. He's Smart Hulk, where he has a balance
they
between the two.
ruined the spirit of the Hulk. That's what I'm trying to fucking say. I don't care about the fact that that's not exactly out of a comic. I care about the fact that they changed Hulk. Period.
Okay.
His inner turmoil, his fight against his internal demon was literally us struggling against our internal demons on page. It was a visual medium for us to be able to express what we feel inside. And they got rid of that shit. They just totally tossed it out the fucking window. Hulk is a very deep, psychologically deep character. And they fucking tossed it out the window for a couple of yucks. No,
Bill
I'm
Bixby
not okay
would
with
agree with you for sure.
Yep, 1000%.
Well, I'm going to wait to actually see what they do with the character instead of making assumptions based on the trailer.
I'm not making an assumption. I watched a fucking video. I saw him doing fucking handstands and going wabba dubba dub dub across the fucking screen. I'm not making this shit up. I've seen it with my eyes.
Yeah, you saw 6 seconds out of a whole TV show.
And that's all it fucking takes, man. If you okay.
Fans,
so you ready
expectations,
to edit again?
ruining
You
shows.
ready to edit again?
No.
You ready to edit again?
Nope.
You ready to edit again?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm just not listening anymore.
Let me PG it down some. If you placed a male phallic shaped object in your mouth for 6 seconds for the rest of your life, have you ever had a male phallic shaped object in your mouth?
Nope.
Then I don't care if it was only 6 seconds. They made him wubba dub dub funny, and that's not Hulk.
And I'm telling you that this isn't a Hulk in the first place.
That's what oh my god. I'm gonna choke you to death.
You don't have to, because I already like made my point. You got to get over what was and only acknowledge what is.
Get a fucking print of this fucking show on film, fly all the way to fucking Texas and jam it down your throat till you fucking choke on it, man.
Why?
I get what I get what you're saying, Ricky, but I also get what Shoky's saying. You both are. Keep in mind,
here's the difference. Shoky's given up and decided just to fucking take whatever they ram up him. I'm still fighting back, saying no, you don't have my permission.
This is the whole point of this multiverse bit that they've been working on us for this whole phase. It doesn't have to be specifically this way all the time.
Yeah.
These are versions of things that we're seeing, that we're being provided.
But that's not how the multiverse works, though. Even in comics, that's not how the multiverse works. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, but it's MCU.
I get where you're coming from. But their spirit stays the same even across them, though, dude. That's what I'm trying to say. Even in the multiverse where Bruce Banner didn't become Hulk, he was still maudlin and internal and thinking dark thoughts. He was still that person. That's the spirit of that character. Did not change no matter which multiverse you found them.
But think about it this way. There's a reason why the Ang Lee version did not translate into the MCU.
Because it was fucking stupid.
Are you sure? Because that's the version that you're talking about.
Negative.
That's the version that gave. That's the version.
No, the movie was stupid. Not Hulk was stupid. The movie was stupid.
The movie was stupid. Yes.
Yes.
But the version, the actual impetus behind that character. That's
I'm gonna tell you
what you're talking about.
That was close to the comics, but closest to the comics was Ed Norton.
It's true.
Which is
he's right.
Still the same one, though. It's still the same character, technically.
No, it's not.
It's not.
What?
It's not. Realistically, it's not, because Ed Norton did not want to continue on with
that version is
Marvel.
This.
Correct.
Well, Marvel didn't want to continue on with him because Ed Norton likes to run shit when he's in a movie, so he doesn't get that when you're an actor, you're not the director.
Yeah. But the thing, at least, and while they haven't bothered to outside of
Explain it
the
away.
Avengers.
Technically, it is the same.
It's the
It is
same
the same
Hulk,
Hulk.
but it's not the same actor. We know, but you know,
Yeah.
we've had to play that game before. We've got two different roadies for the same reason almost.
And it feels like we're playing that game now with what we're being given. So you're right. But this is why I will give you both points on what you're saying, because it is right. You are correct. Is a comic version what we want? Probably not. Is it what we're going to get for this series? Yes. Do we wait and see where this all falls in line? Yes. And the only reason I will give for this is West Coast Avengers.
Same here. Yep, they have to build up something new, and they're gonna do. They're working on Young Avengers, which I think is just gonna flop. But West Coast Avengers can totally happen, and we know we have two new actual proper Avengers
Ironheart.
movies coming.
Isn't Ironheart part of the West Coast Avengers now?
Ironheart would be was part. I believe they're going to try to, but it might be Young Avengers that she falls into.
Yeah, she's gonna shoot into Young probably. Just depends, because you know we're getting Cassie Lang in the next Ant-Man movie, so that's there. We got Kate Bishop already. We're gonna have Ironheart. Who am I missing? That we already have. I don't know. Spider-Man feels like he should fit in there now at this point.
Tony Stark's daughter, Morgan.
Oh, Morgan. Eventually, maybe she's.
What
too
do they
young.
call him? Not the Incredible Hulk, but the whatever one where it's the Chinese kid that turns into him. Cho.
Oh,
young kid
from
turns into
Agents
Hulk.
of Smash. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. His
He's in the comics too. He's like
shit. Everybody's
part of
Hulk
the
at the
Young
moment.
Avengers.
Everybody's hulking at the moment, so I don't know.
Yeah.
No, you're right though. That guy, because his character has been teased because the chick who invented the thing that made Ultron, it was his mom. So in theory, it's Amadeus Cho, I believe what his name is.
Yeah, Amadeus Cho.
Yeah. So in theory, he could come in later as a future more serious Hulk.
They might introduce him in this one and have him be part of the Young Avengers, like you're talking about.
They could do a lot of things, but I'm not going to get mad at it until they do anything. Nothing has happened.
I'm gonna watch the show. See, that's the thing is they're still making shit about shit that I like.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch it, but there are different levels of how I handle it. Like Miss Marvel, I watched the first episode. I was like, nope, this is not for me. So I waited until all of them were out, and then I binge watched all of them, and I appreciated it as a whole. But I just do not care about the character.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna do the same thing with She-Hulk. I'm gonna watch the first one, get a vibe off of it. If it has a doofy vibe, nope, I'll be out till the last episode comes out, and then I'll binge watch them all, and hopefully I'll appreciate it as a whole and just not care about the character afterwards.
I'm gonna watch it week to week just because it gives me something to do.
If I do that, I only do that with my kids. Like if it's like dinner time show, like if we're gonna watch a show while we eat dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll pick these, like we did that with Mandalorian and Boba Fett and all that shit. So we might end up doing that depending on when it comes out.
See, the main reason I'm fine with a lot of these things is because I'm not super deep into the comics. I have references for these characters. Most of the time it's animated. So I don't care about what happened in issue 163 from 1942. You know, I only give a shit.
Mike thing.
But no, I know. But I'm saying, like, for me, like, you're going to get mad because she's not the way she was from the comics. Okay, cool. That's your reference. I don't have to have a reference for any of these things and be like, oh, they changed this too much from this. Now, the only time that I'm going to hold anything accountable to that was what they did with Thor. And that's mostly because they took what could have been a good movie, made it a shit movie because they didn't give it enough to do. They crammed a lot of shit in that movie, but didn't make it good. The fact that they deviated from the comics where they had to because of stupid Sony nonsense.
I think you're still missing the point because you think I care that she's not wearing the same outfit she was wearing.
No. You care about the fundamental changes to the character. No. Yes. I'm saying I'm not going to. I'll put it this way. I'm done holding comic book movies to any form of canon other than themselves. Because there's no point.
For something.
No, they don't. It's been 20 fucking years. The only thing
then you like episode 9.
No, I don't. Because I hold episode 9 accountable to episode 8, not episode 4.
But it's all still part of the same canon. You got to just take it.
I'm not saying I'm throwing it out of canon because it goes against whatever. I hate it as a movie. Episode 9 is a terrible fucking movie. I don't care that they changed blah 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 blah. I gave a shit that they took something great with episode 8 and then fucking threw it out the window because of Twitter and made a terrible fucking movie in response. When it comes to Marvel, I don't give a fuck what comic book said what about whose powers, about what thing, if they were gay, bisexual, or black. All I care about is that they have internal consistency with what they've already done, and if they make a good series with what they have. But I don't care where it came from, because where it came from is not what I'm given. No matter what they hand me, it's not going to be that. It's going to be what it is. So if I hold it to an impossible standard from something that it isn't, then it's never going to be good enough. Ever.
So you think it's impossible for them to have made a She-Hulk show without it being a comedy show?
No, I'm saying that I'm not going to judge it for what it isn't. I'm going to judge it for what it is. You're holding. You're holding it
back further.
No, but that's the point.
You know what I'm saying?
You're starting from a negative, though.
What's the shit that they do with the NASCAR?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're really good, you're way in the front of the pack at the start.
Yeah, any racing, you earn your pole position.
You're still in the same fucking race, and you could still do better by the end of the fucking race, but her pole position's back. It's back just strictly because they've changed what she is.
But see, that's why I can't do that.
See,
anymore.
Mike's like, Mike is like, oh, I'm just not even gonna fucking go to the races. Like, I don't even care who's in the races.
Mike's
like,
no. What Mike does is he sits in the high seats, the nosebleeds, and then bitches about the race the whole time. But the thing is, here's the thing. Why should I hold this show? Why should I hold anything against a show that hasn't even aired from something that has nothing to do with the show other than the name?
But all of it has to do with that. See, that's the thing is.
But see, that's your mentality.
You're just saying it fits with what they're doing. If we had all made a line in the sand at the beginning of the MCU, we wouldn't be where we are now. Instead, everybody's like, "Oh, well, it's something, so we'll go watch it, and it's good, and it's yay, and blah blah blah." And now here we are. This is the fruit of that labor. Not sitting up going, "Whoa!" After Thor went goofy, everybody's like, it was okay. It was still funny. It's Thor. Yay.
Yeah,
and
except
the second one
they're facing that backlash now.
But
they know it.
But they're still going to push it out. She-Hulk is a direct response to everybody making $1 billion on Thor.
Let's be honest. There was a guideline, and there was a vision for phases 1 through 3. That's how we got
the Infinity Saga as it was.
There was an ending to that. It's kind of like the ending to the first 3 Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was your ending. Now we're looking at where do we go from here? But we also have had a lot going on in the world, in our real world lives.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we
should give them something to laugh at, because the world is shit right now.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's more along the lines of, hey, our timetable is really screwed up now, and now we have to punt.
Yeah, that is the biggest problem.
Last year with what Marvel had released for their initial timeline, whether or not that was including shows like Armor Wars, whether or not that was including shows that are no longer on that slate.
Yeah, there's like 5 things that are just gone.
SDCC from last weekend, there is a drastic change, and a lot of that has to do with, well, humanity and where we stand with things. And unfortunately, as a publishing company, Disney, Marvel, they have to punt on these things. That's why No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness got so skewed for where they got released out at.
Mm-hmm.
That's, one house was ready, the other house was not ready.
Yeah.
There's because of that, they're having to punt. And I feel like, yes, do we want the goofiness? No, we don't want the goofiness. I would wholeheartedly agree with Ricky that that's not... It's not the vision that we have in store, but I think that they're having to punt a little bit. They're having to work with what they have, and they're trying to make its amount of content too. There's a lot of content being shoved our way.
Yeah.
It's not so much that they want to make money off of it. It's because they want to keep the spirit of it and the excitement for it going. And if you're a marketer, if you're somebody that's trying to sell a thing, you have to keep that thing going. You have to keep the excitement going, or else people are just going to lose it.
It's like
I'll
YouTube.
Go watch DC.
It's like YouTube and the algorithm.
It's like YouTube and the algorithm.
You got to feed that algorithm, or you die.
So they have to feed that. Is it what you particularly enjoy? No. Is it for everybody? No. Is it for some people? Potentially.
Is it for
I
hopefully
mean,
the
I'll be the
largest
first to
group
say
possible?
I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 6 times because I absolutely loved it, humor and all. Do I want
Me
a
too.
Guardians of the Galaxy every month? No.
Nope.
But in the same respect, is there the content that's being provided is very constant, and it's almost to the point of being jarring. There is some
I
good stuff and there
agree
is some not great
1,000%
stuff.
because I've said that they don't take a breath. Like they're
Right.
not letting us breathe and enjoy
But it's the
it.
same with Star Wars. It's
It's
Yep.
worse.
and
It's worse
we're
with Star
gonna move
Wars.
along to, like, talking about the other stuff, because I know Shoki wants to.
Well, no, I was
But
in a hurry
like,
because I thought you were in a hurry. So
well,
if we
yeah,
got time to
like I
breathe,
said,
but it's a
I'll go on until. But realistically, when we're talking about what again, it's the pedestal expectations of what we expect to get versus what we're actually being given to,
Mhm.
in terms of how much content and what that content is.
Yeah.
It may not be for everybody, but there is a
And
group, there is that demographic that's going to watch that.
and they'll be fine with it,
Yes,
or they'll hate it because the
right.
point is they're
There's so
not.
much of it.
There's so much.
Even if you missed it, you're not going to miss it.
Yeah. But also, like you were talking about with the whole timeline getting screwed up due to COVID, due to people dying, for instance, due to people being fired. And, I brought this up on the Zoom chat, and then Bobby brought it up on Nerd Rage. The whole reason I think that Thor 4 got screwed up so bad is it was supposed to follow Guardians 3. And then Guardians...
Titty with titty got messed up. That's
Yeah.
why it's in there.
Not even that, but the fact that James Gunn was fired put Guardians 3 beyond the back burner. Like, well, fuck, what do we do now? And so that was supposed to be the movie they'd set up to have Thor out there doing shit in the galaxy again. And then they said, okay, like you specifically put it, punted. Thor 4 was a fucking punt. It was, and it was a bad fucking punt. It's like, it probably ended up with a touchback if nothing else. But like, assuming sports references work out that way. Either way,
Not how that works.
but either way, other nonsense going on with it. Like you mentioned, the timeline has drastically changed, both either because projects were dropped or the Fox merger, which changed a lot of their plans. Like they couldn't plan for X-Men. They couldn't plan for anything remotely from that side of the Marvel verse. And now they can. They didn't have the multiverse necessarily in mind, even when they did Doctor Strange the first time. They're like, ooh, the multiverse is a thing. Is it though? And then now... And you even mentioned the Multiverse of Madness versus No Way Home. The studios weren't talking to each other, and they were keeping Spider-Man stuff so close to the chest, they didn't tell the people on Multiverse of Madness what was up. So, like, there's a lot of missing references there. They only slip in the one Spider-Man line just to sort of tie the movies together, because Multiverse of Madness was supposed to be first, not Spider-Man. And things got jacked up. So... some things have been in the works and have been functioning properly and or making tiny changes. Other things have been catastrophically altered, like Black Panther 2. That's a segue, y'all.
I honestly think, like, yeah, and when we talk about, so yes, they are going to get back on track. I think that's what SDCC showed.
And
Wakanda Forever, if there is an example of the quality that Marvel should strive for, even if it means not having content in our face like every waking second, it's that as the example. The
How do you mean?
Wakanda Forever trailer was just beautiful, and it was beautifully done for a 5-minute trailer,
if that.
And it is. I mean, it honestly, if whoever put it together, if they don't win some sort of award out of it, they should.
do trailer
Because
makers
it made
get
fans
awards?
just jump.
People
It made fans
cried.
jump out of their seats.
I cried. I'm
And
not
yeah,
gonna
it
lie.
made people cry.
I
Yeah.
cried at that trailer. It's like,
Yeah.
it's,
It is powerful. It's dynamic, and even without references, you see, there's obviously heavy spoilers and all these other groups that produce their content, and they talk about what this all means and what are these secret references. The dynamic of the two kingdoms and Wakanda in particular. I think Wakanda is going to be that tie-in to a lot of this whole universe. That they're not this pedestal of secrecy anymore.
yeah.
The start of the end of Black Panther and what what T'Challa did was he created a ripple, and it wasn't just about the vibranium. It was that this power, like they
This
stood back like the
ridiculous
Eternals and just
powerhouse.
watched
Yeah.
there the whole time while everything happened and chose not to interfere. Whether or not this leads to their isolationism, whether or not it leads to, something happening more in the entire universe of that realm, that's what we're going to see. And I think like it's going to be one of those things where you're going to get the serious movie you wanted, Ricky, out of this because they understand
It
it.
doesn't have a
There's going to be
choice.
it's legacy and it's respect.
Yeah.
For the material.
See, I have to say, like, I think I said this either last week or something when we were talking about it in passing, or I might have said it on the Rome Hatton project, but the Wakanda Forever has had me scared since the passing of Boseman.
Chadwick, yeah.
Because there's a proper way to handle it, there's the quick and easy way to handle it, and then there's the usual movie way of handling it. And I think they have struck a balance between all three. Like, just from what we've seen, again, we're talking about a trailer, so it could be cut the hell and back to make it look that way. And then we go watch the movie, it could be something totally different and stupid.
Yeah.
But so far, it really looks, like you said, it hit me in the feels. It made me miss him, but it made me see the honor and respect they were showing what happened. The actors are very serious about it. They're not making it a funny fucking movie, which if they ever make a funny Black Panther, Shoki, you can suck my taint. That I'll be done with them.
They had humor. They had plenty of humor in the first one.
Humor is one thing. We're human beings, and they're supposed to represent a level, us at a higher level. So having humor is not the issue. I said made it a funny Black Panther.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Like a slapstick Black Panther. It's not going to happen.
No.
Look at Thor and tell me that again.
Yeah.
Go watch Thor Dark World and then watch Ragnarok and tell me, watch Thor Dark World and tell yourself that they're going to make Ragnarok and see if you fucking believe that would happen.
Well, I can believe it happens if you
But not only did they
directors.
do that, then they made another fucking one like that, even worse than that one.
Okay,
So
well, we're talking Black Panther,
have,
not Thor.
Yeah, they do. Thor started out a very serious movie.
Mm-hmm.
1 and 2 are both very serious fucking movies.
Okay, and then there have been 4
and took
those.
a hard left.
And they gave it to different people. This is still Ryan Coogler. This is still Ryan Coogler. Same guy, still writing the same characters.
This is, you're missing what I'm saying. I believe this is in line with the first Black Panther.
Yeah, my point was changing the people in charge gets you this kind of shit.
I'm just negating you saying that they couldn't do that to a Black Panther. They absolutely fucking could. And I wouldn't put it.
No, I said they won't. I didn't say they couldn't.
I think they wouldn't this first one because of Boseman.
I don't think they ever will.
Past this one, I
think Disney.
Put nothing past them.
I think Disney / Marvel is hopefully learning a lesson from the fans. Stop taking the movies away from good directors and writers and giving it to somebody who has no clue what the fuck they're doing.
Quit switching it around so much. And I kind of said in the background, I don't know if y'all heard me earlier, but when Dormamu was touching on and you and I had talked about this before, the Infinity Saga, that was Feige keeping an overall hand in all the pies.
Yep.
And it was the Russo brothers. Everything trickled up
not
to
the whole
Russo
time,
brothers.
but the back half. The back half was the Russos.
90% of it. No, because they were still talking to people in the forefront because they knew where they were going. Because Feige knew up front they were heading that direction. So it was always trickled up.
But the Russos didn't come in. The Russos didn't come into being in charge of anything until Winter Soldier.
Till towards the end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like so. But no, you're right about Feige, and I forget if I talked to Bobby about this or if it was on Nerd Rage, but like the whole idea that Marvel let off the creative control a bit and started letting individuals have their way. That's when we saw things like Ragnarok. That's when we saw things like some of those other movies. So if they buckle down in phase, obviously phase 4 is essentially over, but if phase 5 and phase 6 they buckle down, they retain that control, Because sometimes you gotta micromanage, or else you start getting continuity nonsense. You start getting shit ass movies over here, and then ridiculously good movies over here. It's like sometimes you gotta strike that balance, and you can't have, like you said, really poor characterization over here, and then the next time we see that character, they're completely different in what's supposed to be a tied together universe. So but when you don't, and yes, mind you, COVID fucked up a lot. Especially continuity wise.
I'm not gonna blame COVID for that shit. That was a choice made somewhere
No.
along the line
I'm blaming COVID because now we're seeing we have the problem of seeing characters out of sync with the universe, like things happening in different times. So we're like, wait, why is this person like this? But a minute ago they were like this, because now these movies are being made out of order, and they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be made in the order in which they're going to be released. So a lot of things were fucked up. Now that life is getting back on track, they need to, for lack of a better term, crack the whip, pull the timeline back to fucking together, and start getting these characters and directors in line with the overall vision. So the exact problem we've talked about a million times, the fucking sequel trilogy was exactly this problem. They didn't have a single creative director, and then they, to keep the vision from 7 to 9 in one way, they had no story from 7 to 9, and they wrote 7, and then they wrote 8, and then they wrote 9, and they sort of said the same people were together in here somehow.
Well, we had that conversation before, because technically only episodes 1 through 3 had the same director through all of them.
Yeah, but
That's the only one.
But it's even the idea that there was no
4, 5, and 6
creative
different directors.
There wasn't creative direction, and there wasn't somebody at the top above the director of the movie saying, "Hold on, you can't do that because then it's going to fuck this up." There was nobody who did that for these movies, and there's nobody who was doing that for Phase 4 so far.
Well, pull back to the 10,000 mile lens looking at it. Phase 1 through 3 was a very serious timeline. Very serious stories, very serious movies.
Mostly,
there were times that they broke it up with like the Guardians, because all serious all the time will make you stick your head underwater until the bubbles stop.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow in Phase 4, it got inverted. It's now this slapsticky, goofy fucking timeline with some serious sprinkled in it. I'm hoping that Wakanda Forever is going to be the pickup where they go back to serious again for 5 and 6, and let the Guardians be the funny times when we need a breather from that serious stuff. Let the Disney Plus shows be the times when we need breathers from that heavy, really dark, people are dropping dead left and right stories. We need that humor every once in a while. But somehow
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
After 6, I'm hoping to look back at 4 and go, yeah, that's that. It was a family get together, and that was the one weird cousin that showed up because you kind of have to invite them because you're related, but you kind of steer clear of them. That's how I'm hoping to be able to think of Phase 4 10 years from now. It's there, and it is part of the same thing, but it's kind of that thing you just kind of push off to the side. I'm gonna go 1 through 3 and then skip right into 5 and 6.
There was, I can't remember where I saw this because I watched so much of this stuff, especially like heavy spoilers, Screen Crush, things like that. There was something I saw where I said basically Phase 4 has become the in between the two major sagas that we've got so far. So Infinity Saga, like you said, everything hefty happened up until then, and then where the fuck do you go after that? So now we've done with Thanos, we've done with almost all the big bads, and the world is now doesn't know what the fuck to do with itself. Everything has been reset. The world's in shambles from one way or the other. We've lost certain heroes, we've gained other ones. Everything is broken. This is the broken period of Phase 4. And so that's basically what they said, is like, whether it was planned or incidental, because COVID broke everything in the first place, now Phase 4 has become the broken gap. And then Phase 5, Phase 6 are going to be focused on the Kang era, basically. The multiverse saga, the Kang saga, that kind of stuff.
The
like
timelines,
that. Yeah, so... And they can finally go like, okay, so we had this mishmash, and also not to mention the Fox merger changed a lot of their plans, like I said earlier. So now they can go, okay, so this is the area where everything is just jumbled because we don't know what to do yet. Now that we have this, we can make all these plans in the future. We can take what we already had, adjust to what we have now, and now we can make plans going forward. And now hopefully it will be somebody going, okay, nope, this, nope, they're going to keep it here. Stop. No, you don't do that. And then start smacking the hands of certain people so they will keep characters in a different direction than
Now,
they
I'm going to
have
tell
done.
you what I think 5 and 6 will work is if, and it's going to sound weird, but I'll try to explain it, is if they allow nerds to do it. Now, let me explain. Think about nerd now is a pop culture thing where everybody does it. But just think back to when we were younger. You were a comic book reader, you were made fun of. The normies thought you were weird because you read comics. Okay.
My wife still makes fun
So
of me.
all of a sudden, comics become this normalized, popularized thing. So you got 1 through 3. That is the comics we read. I mean, not the actual stories. Don't be pedantic. I'm saying we took them serious as nerds. Like we took our comics serious.
Sorry, I just got
All
hit
of
by
a
a
sudden,
giant iron. Because it's very ironic what you just said.
all the normies were like, "Holy fuck, this is what comics were." We thought comics were goofy, stupid shit, and now that's what Phase 4 is. All of a sudden, the normies are now in charge, running this stuff. The non-nerds are making these movies. The non-nerds are making these shows. The people who didn't have love for comics. Titty with Twisty didn't even fucking know that she was in a fucking Star Wars movie. I mean, get the fuck out of here. How do you not know that Natalie Portman was in fucking Star Wars? He can try to backtrack and say he was joking all the fuck he wants to. That dude did not realize she was in Star Wars, which 1000% tells you that he is not a fucking nerd.
I
And
don't know
he
why.
made these
I don't even know
movies,
why they would give him a Star Wars movie.
and he made both Thor movies that are universally panned because it is way. And I'm not even a Thor fan, so I enjoy the goofy Thor a little bit. Like I enjoy Ragnarok more than most hardcore comic people because of what we talked about earlier about not having baggage, because I was never a Thor guy. But even to me, even the non-Thor guy, this Love and Thunder was too much. It was way, way too much. So I'm hoping that 5 and 6 gets back to the nerds running it. We need the inmates running the asylum, not the other way around, because we understand the comics. When you let a nerd do it, that's how you keep the spirit of that character in a story, because a nerd understands that that's how that character is. A nerd would not make a comedy out of She-Hulk. Sorry to tell you, that is not a nerd making that show. But it is a normie who thinks that fucking comic stuff is cool and now wants to make something that everybody else is making. Favreau, huge nerd, self-proclaimed, has shown comic collections, shown pictures of him as a kid reading comics, and look what he did with Iron Man. He took a nobody fucking character, he kept the spirit the fucking same, and he made a great series of movies that branched into this huge fucking universe. Because he was a nerd. If they put it back into the hands of the nerds and let them run 5 and 6, we'll be back on track. If they keep it in the hands of these fucking people that are just out trying to make a fucking movie that just happens to be based on comic stuff, it's going to be trash like we've been getting.
Yeah, part of it too is Hollywood, and let's be honest, the studios, you know, it's the old adage, you know, it's money talks.
Yep.
Money talks.
You got to speak with your wallet. Look, as much as we bitch about Thor, Love and
you
Thunder,
speak with your wallet, but the studios also speak with theirs too, and they know what's going to make money. It's the same reason why they keep thinking that putting out an X-Men film after X-Men film was going to make them big bucks. There's, you know, there's perception of what the idea is going to create in terms of revenue, who's going to watch it, you know. And again, this is also where what's the difference between a writer, a director, and a CGI effects artist? A writer will write something that they think is fabulous, and this actually gives us a good segue to something else as well that was from SDCC. But the writers write something that they think is going to be fabulous. They write entire worlds, they write entire soliloquies, they write for the sake of writing for the art. The director will direct whatever they feel is going to basically make them look good and get them the award, because that's what they do. It's to make that information look good. The CGI person, though, will basically just say, hey, give me somebody with dots on their face and I can make them look like anything.
Right.
It's all about the perception of what they're going to create out of what they've been paid to create by the studio, by the house that requests it. And so this is a great segue to the Sandman trailer,
Neil
where
Gaiman. That's a
we have
segue,
someone,
y'all.
He actually
we
had a
have
good
Neil
segue, but he
Gaiman,
talked over. He
where we
actually
have
beat me
Neil
through the segue
Gaiman.
I wanted to do. Damn it.
where we have Neil Gaiman, who is one of the best fantasy writers of his time, of the era. And granted, Sandman is kind of like Moon Knight with just more sand. But
Hold on, how do you get more sand than Moon Knight?
You get more sand than well, I mean, if your name is Sandman.
But was it more sand than Tatooine?
That's a good question.
Was it more
sand?
Was it more sand than the other?
Does it get everywhere?
Sandman.
But everybody thinks that Gaiman's work, because it's what comics and writing, should be like this visual tour de force. Does it end up just looking more like American Gods? Yes.
Yeah.
It does. But is it going to be true to what the story is? Who knows?
The spirit of it.
It's the spirit of it, which again, it's another production house that is producing something just like what Marvel feels is going to get the people to the theaters. And so I feel like Sandman's one of those. It's your it's
I don't know enough about the comics or this version of Sandman that I'm
gonna let you punch my nerd
reference.
card. I've never read it. I've read the very first number, like the trade paper, the very first one I read 20-something years ago. And I didn't dislike it. It just wasn't my cup of tea at the time, and I need to go back and reread them.
Is it me, or is Sandman the thing that everyone said, oh, you've got to read the Sandman? And if you've read Sandman, then you have this wholly other level of nerddom. But then most people haven't fucking read it. Like most people haven't read it.
It was that and anything by what's his face, The Watchmen. Like anything, it was Sandman and him. If you read Neil Gaiman or you read his stuff, the crazy wizard bearded dude, I am brain farting so bad right now. I'm so tired. Who's the one who wrote Watchmen?
I mean, I get what you're saying, and yes, does it make you? Was it designed to be that highbrow thing?
Extra nerd cred. Yeah.
I think what it is if you ended up with it in your comic book bag, you're reading something that nobody else was, because it wasn't everybody's cup of tea back in the day. It was, but by the time it got around to popularity, really Watchmen was really what put Sandman more to the forefront, and then everybody was like, oh wow, this is something I had completely missed.
Yeah,
these low-key indie comics are actually pretty interesting. We should check these out.
I do have a question though, because isn't that because I know the Sandman comics specifically were kind of their own thing, but also Sandman is tied to the DC universe in a way because he's also technically Dream in the DC universe.
I think that was
there is some precedence for it. It's
they're not exactly the same, but they're technically the same.
They're technically the same.
Yeah. So,
it's one of those ones I will definitely let somebody punch my nerd card. I missed out on that one. That was not something I ever got deep into.
I mean,
no, I never got that deep into it as well. But
you're at your computer. I'm sorry, I'll let you go, Dormamu.
Yeah, I never got it as deep. No, all good, man. I mean, I never got as deep into it as well, because at the time I wasn't really. It wasn't one of those titles that I felt was like speaking to me in terms of what I wanted to read.
Right.
But it is one of those things where it's more about dreams and the perception of what. It's very subtle. It's a very subtle read. It's a very deep read too.
And when that was out, I was all types and flights.
And the emotions.
Yep.
So
that's what I'm saying. I want to go back now as an older man, and not old, but older than I was when it was coming out, and just see if my perceptions on life and stuff have changed enough that I'll actually enjoy, because it was very deep. I remember it being very like, the fuck is he on about in this comic?
It's also very heady.
Yeah, it's very.
It's like Dune,
highly intelligent guy, and
it's like Dune in the headiness.
Yeah,
Shogi, real quick while we're talking about this, look up how much Love and Thunder made. Go
Why?
ahead, Dormamu. I just want to know something.
uh,
Go ahead,
no, I
Dormamu.
was gonna say like I think like where Neil Gaiman was trying to write on this was from a perspective of what happens to the soul and what happens to the dreams of the people that are
Yeah.
that make them make their personalities who they are.
Yeah.
And it's a battle of
Very
who's
introspective.
in control of that.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and so that's part of what we see out of the trailer is this this battle that's happening where you have this character. I'm not going to go into it to kind of to spoiler it for anybody, but if you get a chance, anybody that's listening, to get the trade paperback or pick up a copy or get it from
Read
the
it on
library,
Amazon.
by all means, it's available.
Go digital.
Go
Right.
on Comixology on Amazon.
Yeah,
just-
exactly.
comics.
Go to
Get
Comixology for
comics.
sure.
Yeah.
And so, it's very much in line with the rest of Neil Gaiman's other work, where it's all about the what makes individuals, the individual soul, and what makes them, and whether it's war, peace, goodness, light. It is. In this case, it's the dreamscape and it's the dream world and who is in control of that and whether or not they have the ability to actually bring peace to that because it affects everything else in the universe, everything else in the DC. And I guess if you want to try for it against like the DC scape of things, it is sort of their version of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But that's a very wide field to throw a dart
Yeah,
at.
because I mean, like,
It's more like Doctor Strange, Doctor Fate, and then deeper.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
very
even
much so,
beyond
and it's
that.
why we're getting a Doctor Fate movie eventually. DC
Mhm.
released their timeline as well, and it
Oh,
looks
I
like
didn't
they're
see
going to
that.
try for that.
because I know Fate is going to be in the Black Adam movie.
Yeah.
If ever so
Yeah.
briefly.
James Bond is playing them. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I definitely
Yeah,
think
Pierce
like
Brosnan.
there's a precedence
Oh,
for
yeah,
what
yeah.
they're
Other
doing,
Bond.
and there's a precedence for what they're doing, and so looking at it visually, it's very good. But I have to say, I watched through American Gods. It looks so much like just an American Gods rehash to me, and maybe that's just because Stars did such a great job that
Yeah.
Never watched
that I
it.
feel like it's going to be tough to top that, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, having no reference for it and no other direct comparison, it's going
Preconceived
to be
notions.
interesting.
Yep.
So for me, I've got nothing going into this, so I can judge it wholly. Not to mention it's Netflix, so it's already, and that's the only way I'm going to lower its pole position, because it's a Netflix series in a comic book way. Because, well, yeah, we all know. But either way, to answer your question, Ricky, 662.4 million.
That number right there, referring back to what we were talking about, I was trying to get it in before the segue, but you smoothed into it, Dormamu, and I couldn't get to it. That
Sorry.
is why they're gonna make a Thor 5 with Titty with Twisty fucking making it, because $664 million is too much money to leave on the table to try to let nerds make a proper nerd movie.
Well, that's why they
But
timed the
that's-
movie while he's doing Star Wars, and he can't do both. So,
But
you
it's
take it.
only, but you see, it's also very short-sighted, because if they look just back 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when nerds were making the movies, they were making $1 billion fucking dollars. But all they see now is $664 million. They don't care about the check that they got 5 years ago. They care about the check they got last month. And that's why we're going to keep getting shit movies. And I'm hoping that this fixes it. I hope Wakanda, the seriousness of it, and they see how much money that makes, and like, oh, okay. So they do like funny stuff. We made $600 million. So they definitely, somebody likes funny stuff. But this made $1 billion fucking dollars. So this is what they're actually looking for.
Yeah.
And then they keep on
True.
along with that. I'm hoping that is a wake up call to them, because $664 million is no kind of chump change, but it's still not $1 billion.
I think at least with this particular movie, the wallet isn't necessarily going to win out, because basically the fan outcry has been horribly negative about this one. So
it was negative about Ragnarok, and they still made
it was not. Why do people keep saying that Ragnarok was shit? Everyone loved
I didn't
Ragnarok.
say it was shit. No, I said fan outcry.
No,
Nerds.
no, it wasn't.
There was very
That's
few.
the thing.
I was always fighting against people, telling them I liked Ragnarok. They're like, you like
Who the?
what?
I
That
never
movie
met a
is fucking
single
stupid.
person. It's like we're arguing the same point. I never met a single fucking person who hated Ragnarok. I've never met a person who hated Ragnarok.
I've never met anybody besides you now who said that you actually enjoyed Ragnarok.
I love Ragnarok.
Not nerds. Now normies, I know a bunch of them that loved Ragnarok.
No, it's like I know normies, I know nerds, I know reviewers, everyone who fucking loved Ragnarok for what it was. And like I don't understand like and I don't want to the only reason we can compare the two is because it's the same director.
You know, too, which Twisty ruined them both.
That's funny. But anyway, Robert's
What's
just,
funny?
Rob just text or put a
Commented.
message. Yeah. Do you got to go now, Rob, or no?
I can talk for a few more minutes while I'm wrapping things up.
That's fine.
For actual, for my day.
Yeah, so that's cool. Let's we're almost done with it anyways. So speaking of spending too much money on trash, Lord of the Rings of Power final trailer, I guess you want to call it.
Another prequel of a prequel.
It's a well, yeah, actually, yes, technically speaking, prequel to a prequel, but like comparatively, we've gotten two other teaser trailers before this, and this is the only one that remotely looks like it's a Lord of the Rings related thing at all. And once again, I'm going into this kind of blank because the series is basically supposed to be somewhat loosely adapted from the Silmarillion.
Yeah, but that's not even, you can't even base it on that because that's like what, like a picture dictionary. It's not even a fucking story. Like the
I need Sean to come in here and to fucking smack you down.
No, I'm being dead ass serious. It's
he's
like
kind of right
because it's not an actual story.
The Silmarillion is more of a guidebook to Tolkien's.
Yeah.
Tolkien's
It's
Bible,
like, oh, you
will.
heard this name? Well, here's a fucking paragraph about that person that they mentioned one time in that one sentence. Oh,
And
they talked
really
about going to this place. Here's a picture of kind of what it looked like. That's
and really
pretty much all
75.
it is.
Really, he's right. 75% of the Silmarillion is basically just elf lore and language and songs and
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like all the drinking songs of the dwarves and the hobbits and shit are in there. Like, I'm not making this shit up, dude. I read all that. Sean ain't gonna smack me. I read it all. I have them in hardback in here, dude. I'm a fucking nerd. Dude. Everybody forgets that shit because I talk shit about it. But
I think you'll like this reference, Ricky. So really where this Rings of Power to me feels like, and this was the note that I wrote down. Young Galadriel versus MILF Galadriel. You pick.
Both. Same time.
Yep.
Not even gonna argue.
Exactly.
I like that. Dormamu, like, this is why I wanted you here, man.
See, but at least for me, I don't give a shit. I just hope it's a good show. It's like, if it's a shit show, it's a shit show. If it's a good show, it's a good show. If it's somewhere in between, cool. Then fucking Bezos blew out a fuckload of money for no reason. But I'm not up in arms with everybody.
Shit. I think it's gonna be like Game of Thrones level of production quality. I don't think it's gonna be shit.
It's the highest budget TV show ever, from what I recall.
Did they beat out Game of Thrones for price now?
I think it's over 300 million for this series.
An episode?
No, for the series it's like 340 million.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
way too much.
He literally threw all of the money. This is straight up Bezos said, "I want this to happen. Well, here's money, do it." That's literally what it came down to.
Him, like, he had to pay his ex-wife what, like $7 billion in their divorce. That's
some absurd money. So, but like, if it's good and it's just more shit in the Lord of the Rings verse, but not having to trail on the same fucking characters that we
now you keep calling it shit, Sean's gonna come smack you.
No, the reason I say shit is because all I see is negativity surrounding this show. Like, oh, look what they did here. Oh, they're changing this shit. Oh, we got black dwarfs. Oh, like, who the fuck cares? It's shit we've never seen before, for once. It's the same shit we've been arguing about Star Wars. Do something other than this small segment of time. You've got thousands of years of history. Give us something else. Now, if this is building up to Sauron becoming a thing, cool. Like,
as long as the spirit stays the same.
Well, it's not, because
it's kind of easier because there is no spirit. Because, like I said, it's like a guidebook.
Yeah,
but if it stays in the spirit of the movies, like it has that same kind of vibe and feel, it's gonna be fine. People need to fucking relax.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm tired. At this point, I'm both tired of woke nonsense and people bitching about woke nonsense. Because it's like, oh no, there's a thing in here. It's going to be woke. The whole series is going to be shit. Shut the fuck up. It's like, wait till it comes out to be fucking seen. Oh, these people have watched the first couple episodes. They say this. Shut the fuck up and wait till it comes out. Jesus Christ.
Have you ever read The Lord of the Rings?
No. That's why I can only base anything on these things.
If you go back and read The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings in this day and age, considering that book was written, what are we talking, 60, 70 years ago?
World War II era.
It was pretty fucking woke for back then. Like some of the stuff he talks about back then, he just made it wasn't a thing. He just talked about it.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's, he's talking about transgenders and lesbians and homosexuals and blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't about that. It just happened to be part of the story. Only people nowadays on the internet are making this big deal out of it. It's always been that way. Go back and fucking read them.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't even know these specific arguments anymore because I stopped. Like, if I see somebody bitching about it, it's like, oh, look what happened here. The new Lord of the Rings movie is woke in this way. I'm not even going to pay attention to you. It's like you're just clickbaiting for whatever and finding a reason to talk about somebody else complaining about something. It's like, can I just wait till it comes out, watch it, and make my own assessment without you, the greater you here, not you, Ricky.
I got you.
Shooting down whatever the fuck it is months before it's ever come out. It's like I might respect your opinion a little and your thoughts on something based on what you've seen, but you telling me what other people are angry about is not necessarily going to be why I want to base my own judgment on, you know? Just fucking stupid. Just wait till it drops.
The commercial very much put me in the same kind of headspace as the movies. So I think they're doing what they're supposed
this trailer definitely did. Like, comparatively to the other ones that just looked like the teaser trailers was like the 1,000-foot view of it. Like, I don't know what the fuck's happening here. This seemed like, oh, we have an actual story. Like this, this is in Lord of the Rings world. This is in Middle Earth.
Oh. It looks beautiful.
And it looks beautiful. It better. It fucking better.
For that much.
For that much money.
Could you imagine if it was like $330 million and they have like Blumhouse fucking horror flick?
Let me Google real quick. I want to see exactly how much it is. Let me sit here. Hold on.
I mean, that would be crazy. If
budget for Lord of the Rings
out there with like rubber prosthetics on his face and shit.
Damn it. Hold on.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Hold on. Rings of Power, right?
Yes.
Budget for, damn it, I was trying to, that was the original movie, not that. It cut me off. What is the budget for Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power series?
According to winteriscoming.net, the Rings of Power is a bargain for billionaires. So how exactly is spending almost $500 million, nearly double the $281 million price tag of Peter Jackson's entire trilogy of films, a bargain?
Hold on. They
doubled the price of all of the whole trilogy of movies. They've doubled the price for this
here it
TV
is.
show.
I found it.
Well, that's one way to get
I'm sorry I underestimated. I apologize to Bezos for how much I underestimated his nerddom. $465.
Jesus Christ.
It better fucking look good.
$465 million for one season.
One season.
You cannot ship my thing in a shipper that won't crush my boxes.
Or give out bent cards to everybody.
No, you can't pay people enough to not bend boxes. Oh my god. But
$465 million
on a streaming service that he'll never fucking see actual money returned. See, this is okay. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all money coming back to him.
No. This is where I want billionaires to really be doing with their money. Just fucking sink your money into dumb fun shit instead of fucking worried about actual world problems or developing the next giant technology that not help me or my grandchildren, but it's going to be super important in the future. No, fucking spend $500 million on a TV show that people are pissed off about before it even happened. That's what I want billionaires to do.
Entertained? Like,
we'll watch our TVs as things burn outside, as California.
I'm not worried about that shit.
It's happening right now in Texas. So
fuck the outside.
Well, the outside is where TV comes from. So if it all burns down, you won't have TV.
That's not true, because somebody else somewhere will be making something.
No, if all of outside burns down, then there's nothing out there other than
Bezos will get together with his buddy Musk, and they will launch on
they
SpaceX
don't
up
like
to the
each other.
moon and record movies on the fucking moon, and I'll watch that shit.
What,
Yeah.
you think they're going to send any TV back to from here? Nah. Going to be
It'd
for the
be
moon
even
Yeah,
people.
the latest from PRS, Penis Rocket Studios.
Exactly. Penis Rocket Studios.
It would be easier for them to beam us something from the moon than it is for us to actually bounce shit off satellite back to ourselves. Because
Right.
it's a straight shot. They don't have to bounce it off anything.
Sure. I guess so.
It's science.
In theory.
But
But we're all going to they're going to Mars anyways and taking everything with them.
$465 million.
So-
that is just mind-boggling.
That
So-
is
And
mind-
how many
so-
episodes are going to be in this?
God knows.
Let's say
52?
10.
Can
Let's
we
say
hear
10.
It better be 52.
No, but it's going to be.
It's going,
you know,
it's
gonna be
going
like
full
10.
anime. It's going full anime, 52 episodes.
You know, it's going to be like 10. So you're looking at.
Oh, it better be more than 10.
$46 million an episode. That is crazy money,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's like, and if it doesn't look any better than the best shit from from Game of Thrones, then it's a waste.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about a series that is clearly not spending $46 million an episode. Interview with the Vampire on
It
AMC.
looks shit. It looks
Tell
shit.
me you're a vampire without telling me you're a vampire.
I'm not a vampire. Okay, so we don't have to go too far into it. I just saw that the
Anne
trailer
Rice
was
is my
available.
favorite writer.
Yeah. So either way, some of y'all will love it.
I like
the rest
I
of
like
y'all
two
It's
things
an,
in
will.
it's
this
an
world.
AMC.
Yeah,
It's an AMC.
I like
show,
two things
so-
in this world: Interview with a Vampire and Nightmare Before Christmas. That's how you know I'm a vampire.
I
Now, here's
mean,
the
you
second.
know, AMC's doing it, so even if it's got Anne Rice's name on it, which, if it's, why is it called a soft reboot? If all it means
It's a
is you're just
show.
trying to rewrite the story so it's isn't fluffed over like the original release was.
Well,
or-
the soft
gonna go
reboot
full
is
Walking
they're
Dead with
changing.
it.
Yeah,
You're gonna
they're
go full
changing
Walking Dead and
characters.
just go off page with it.
Hold on, wait.
Yeah.
They're
Isn't
changing
that
the
Grey
spirit
Worm
of it.
playing Louis?
Hmm.
Isn't that Grey Worm playing Louis?
Oh, I didn't pay them enough attention.
I want to say that's Grey Worm.
Really?
Yep. Go back and look again. I might be wrong on that, but it kind of looks like him with hair.
Starring Jacob Anderson. So I'm gonna say yes. Because it
There you
says
go.
from Game of Thrones. I'm literally
go.
looking at it.
Yep. So
I mean,
that
I'm not gonna watch
they're
it,
just changing
but
it.
it's a thing that happened.
I think my wife's gonna watch it, and she'll try to make me watch it. And I'll be like, "Go."
No, she can come
hell."
on every week and tell us what she watched, and we can judge it based on it.
I'm good.
So she'll be our interview with the vampire watcher and let us know if it's good or not. We don't have to watch it.
I'll make her take notes. I'll make her take notes every week, and then come on at the end and give us a big overall synopsis.
Yeah, all she
of
has to
the
do is
whole
come on for 10 minutes, tell us what happened, and then
thing. It was shit.
It's over.
She could give you like my Halo rundown.
Yeah.
It's still garbage.
like we need somebody to come on who's gonna watch the show, and it's not gonna be any of us.
I
So.
watched Halo in
No,
every
I'm-
episode. I told you. it's
Yeah, I
still
know, and you
shit.
shouldn't have. And guess how many I watched? One, and I was out.
And it was still shit the whole time.
so-
You missed nothing. You're fucking welcome. You owe me like 20 hours of your fucking life.
I didn't tell you to go watch it. You watched it of your own accord, and then you came
they
on the
told me to
show.
watch it by calling it Halo. That's why I had to watch it.
Yeah, it was called Halo, and I didn't watch it, so I'm fine. I'm
Nah,
not gonna
real
pay
fan.
for I'm not gonna pay for anything else to watch that kind of nonsense. But unfortunately,
Well, we
something
already had
else that's
Paramount Plus. No.
yeah, but unfortunately, something else that's on Paramount to some degree is the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves movie.
I'm okay with it. I know EE hates it already. EE Prime already hates this fucking movie.
Yeah, can I have a moment?
Yes, you
I
can
want
have
you
all,
to
Hey,
take it
Chris
be-
Pine.
take all the
Hey,
moments.
Chris, can I talk to you for a minute, Chris? You got two methods of acting. It's either smoldering look of smugness or it's swagger dialogue. It's not original anymore, Chris Pine. Okay, all I see is Kirk and LARP.
It's a
Lens
holodeck.
flare can't cover your acting method.
It's the
I'm sorry,
holodeck.
man.
Look at it this
So
way.
here's the thing.
It's just Kirk in the holodeck.
Now I watched this. This is one of the ones I watched before we did the show because I didn't know if it was a different one than I'd already seen or if it was just a better quality or something. So I clicked it to watch it. This is literally Thor. They're taking something serious and they're trying to make it funny. I'm not a D&D guy. I've never been a D&D guy. I have friends that are huge D&D people, and I know that they take it very serious.
Most people
And I
are.
know
Most D&D guys are huge.
I know that there are, of course, it's us putting ourselves into the game, so there can be humor in it. But the fact that they literally go with the Led Zeppelin song, just like Ragnarok, they fucking literally just have him joking his way through everything, wubba dub dubbing and tripping and falling into the next part of the adventure is literally just Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. They saw those movies. They saw that same $664 million we talked about, and they want some of that. That's what this movie is. This is their version of that. Now I'm going to watch it because I have no ties to it.
Now, the only thing I want out of this movie is for it to be us literally watching like at the end of the movie, we find out it's literally like 10 people playing a campaign. No, they're playing a campaign. We've just been watching it the whole time. Yeah.
So you want your ending to Buzz Lightyear that you didn't get?
Yeah. But well, in this case where they're not watching a thing, they're playing the campaign. Like we zoom out and like all it's.
That's what I'm saying. You want your Lightyear ending you didn't get. You want the camera to zoom out and see this.
Lightyear pops up on Disney Plus this month, so I can actually watch it here in a couple days. So that's good for me.
Not bad. It was actually good.
I will say that
here's the thing. I'm sad that Marlon Wayans isn't in it because I actually like the old movie. I like the old movie because, again, no tie to Dungeons and Dragons. I just liked it.
Now, is there anything about this that is sort of referencing? Was it because there was a cartoon Dungeons and Dragons, right? Or was that called something else? Yeah,
that was in the 80s.
Are there things? Yeah, I remember that. Is there anything in here that seems to be referencing that, or am I?
Not that I've seen. There was no Avenger references, no Uni references.
I was wondering.
Even the Owlbear is just a throw to the original second edition.
Okay.
Yeah, tabletop.
See, I gotta wonder.
Statuette, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Were you a D&D-er, Dormamu?
Yeah, for a hot minute.
See, that's the thing is,
long enough to have a ranger character, yeah. And I mean, I wasn't, but I've still got friends that play. Shout out to the D&Ders out there, guys. Because
Nick and Maya are both big into D&D.
I guess I need to hit up some D&D people and find out if this is because I'm outside of that to not know what is good or good.
Well, I know according to EE, this D&D movie to what he knows of D&D, and I guess he was big into the books and all that stuff. This will be his Halo.
Oh, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. At least it's only a movie. They don't have to endure a series, which I'm surprised that. I mean, we've already gotten a really good D&D adaptation series, technically twice now, with Critical Role. So, I mean, what do? You got to just come up with something else in that universe. But either way, that's a good place to go ahead and end, because that was literally the end of our notes. So, guys, make sure you do that like and subscribe thingy, wherever it is you are. I actually started listening to us on Spotify so that we could actually get some Spotify listens, and I rated us 5 stars on Spotify. So give us high ratings wherever you are. And make sure you subscribe on the YouTube if that's where you're watching it. And you can also follow me on all the Shoky related things that are linked down below. We have Ricky over here. You can follow him on his work for Nerd Rage Radio on Facebook, and then technically every other Friday night for the Realm Hatton Project, and then the other times at Hangouts.
It's a hangout. Yeah. I'll still be on there. You can come in there and shoot the shit with us.
Yeah. And then you do have Rob/Dormamu down here. Is there anywhere they can find you, sir?
You can find me on Facebook. You'll find me in part of the chats for the Realm of Collectors channels, including the Realm Hatton projects on Fridays. So look me up, shout me out.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Oh, I'm glad you came, man. It was awesome to have you in here, man. Like as soon as you even mentioned it, I was like, well, let me go hit him up because that would be awesome because I do interact with Dormamu a lot. And I know like if you watch any of the Realm Hatton videos, he'll have us in tears. Like we literally will stop talking about whatever we're talking about just because some comment he said in the chat squad that we'll see and they'll have us dying. So
nice.
I love this guy. This guy's awesome.
And hopefully if we ever have a live show, he can be in our chat. Also, shout out to Mike, who is probably going to be absent for a little while they're trying to get settled in a new home somewhere. I will still include the link down below for the GoFundMe to help them raise enough money to get a down payment for a house, because it's been a pretty tragic week for them. Luckily, they got at least a couple extra days to finalize their packing and moving, but they we haven't actually discussed where he's currently living, but he no longer has his home as it stands. So shout out to
I
Mike.
thought he said he got an extension.
He got 2 extra days to get their shit out.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
No. But they a few people from my live streams definitely donated the other night. So shout out to the people who did that. Trying to get the word out there as much as possible. Try to get this family a home. So either way, nice depressing thing to end on, guys, but it is what it is. It is what we do. And we'll catch you on the next one. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.